I didn't think I was going to do one of these again, but hey, welcome back to another live discussion, everybody. This is the Osnator here, back with another stream. Tonight's just going to be a very lax conversation-like stream. We're going to be discussing something big, kind of in the superhero realm, especially now that Peacemaker Season 2 has officially concluded, and it seems like it'll be the last season. And the response to that finale was not very well received. It was very. I think the majority who saw it were like, the ending sucked. It was very disappointing. And just as a whole, we're going to be talking about, is the DCU almost doomed to fail? Now, I bring this up because I don't know how much credit I want to give these guys, but shout out to Sean Stackhouse and Terrence, who do the world's finest team up. They've been going off lately with a bunch of videos. Not exactly painting James Gunn in a very favorable light, shall we say. Again, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. I don't want to say that as an attack. But there's a lot of people on both spectrums, right? Like you got the side of people that want to give James Gunn like, oh my God, James Gunn's perfect. He's not gonna screw anything up. Oh my God, every project he's doing is like a hit and it's gold and no misses. And then you got the other side that's like, oh nope, Gunn's fucked it. He's fucked it already. It's dud. It's dead. And now with all these things, with now WB and there being a merger with Paramount, or Paramount's going to buy out WB, James Gunn could be in trouble. And again, with everything going on, with the circumstances around it, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. But the main question tonight is the DCU, is this going to last, or is this doomed to fail? And I got Chris Knight, we got Danny here. Hello, gentlemen. Good to see you.
What's up?
So yeah, I'll kind of start off here before we get into this real conversation. Like, especially coming off of the DCEU, not the DCU, the DCEU, where there was so much management changes left and right. You had Walter Hamada there for a while. And you had Zack Snyder, who was like, had his own direction. Then that fell through. Then Walter Hamada came and was like, nope, this is what we're doing. Of course, that didn't last long. And then Dwayne Johnson came in and was like, nope, we're doing it my way. That didn't work. And then James Gunn's like, nope, I'm coming back. I'm going to be your savior here. The problem is with James Gunn, like, yeah, he did the Guardians movies, but he really, again, this is just from my interpretation of it, other than Guardians, he has not had a whole lot of experience in a management position to really run this. And he revealed his slate, I believe, in the late 2022 or early 23, where he gave like a basic outline of like, hey, here's what we're going to do. And then he did it. Kind of. He started with Creature Commandos, then Superman, then he did Peacemaker. He's going to have Lanterns coming out next year with Supergirl and Clayface. And he's got a few other projects down the road. But okay. Here's maybe the first thing I want to start off with when it comes to the DCU dooming to fail. And we talked about this a little bit before, and that is Superman's box office. Now I feel like we're all kind of different. We kind of have each like somewhat of a differing opinion on Superman. I like the movie. I think I liked it more than both you guys here. Chris, I think you said it was okay.
I don't hate the movie. I have a problem. I just have a problem with the choices made within the movie that make it hard for me to watch it. It's like, I want to like it. It looks like Superman, but it doesn't feel like Superman. Like Episode 9 of Star Wars. It looks like Star Wars, but it's not Star Wars.
Gee, I didn't think we would be getting a Star Wars reference tonight, but you know what? Hey.
Leave it to me.
Yeah.
I might even work in The Last Jedi at some point. Oh, wait, yeah, I just did.
See, look at that. He's gonna find a way to incorporate Andor in some of this. I could tell. I could look
Wait
at his
for it.
face. Oh man, you probably would. Uh, and then Danny, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you what were your thoughts on Superman again? I think you said it was okay, right?
It's not one of my favorite Superman. As the way they were building it up with the trailers and stuff, to me it was a little underwhelming. I'm not gonna say it's the worst I've seen. I think the worst Superman product I've ever seen probably was Supergirl. Then it'd be one of the Superman 4 probably. But other than that, I mean, I just think the way they portray Man of Steel, that Superman, is a much more one that I can connect to versus this guy. Maybe he'll grow on me. And if you're looking at it logically, if you read the crawl, I looked at it a second time to try to give it a chance. And it tells a little bit background about 30 years he's been here, and 3 years he's revealed the world as he's Superman. And then 3 minutes ago, he just got beat for the first time by the hammer of Slavavia, whatever the name of the country was. I could see that, but after seeing Henry Cavill, especially in Batman v Superman, when he pretty much destroys the Justice League, he's supposed to be like some of the strongest individuals on Earth, to see him reduced down to this, where he's like wheezing and breathing, and yeah, I know it's a different vision from a different director, but this is something you can't mess up. Maybe if this was at the beginning of the superhero movie going experience, it would be received differently. But now we've already seen a certain standard. So to go back and do it and making him seem weak, and seeing how he just pretty much kill not Decide, but what was his name? Not Decide, not Dark Sword, not Steppenwolf. To see how he basically came in there and like Steppenwolf Steppenwolf was kicking everybody's butt. The Atlanteans, the Amazons. I mean, he just going through like hot butter. Superman going to see and he couldn't do nothing. I don't even think he got a hit in. So just to see it go from that to what we saw earlier this year, and then I heard a video where James Gunn saying that he don't want Superman so overpowered that the other Super Friends wouldn't really matter. Yeah, I don't want him overpowering like that. It's just like ridiculous. But at the same time, I don't want to see him beat to a pulp like he don't know what he's doing. Because even as Henry Cavill, and he just met his dad for the first time in Man of Steel, and his dad pretty much showing stuff, he still was acting very confidently and like he had confidence in his abilities, even though he didn't know how to fly at first and that kind of stuff. But once he went into that ship and his dad was telling him what was going on, Russell Crowe, he quickly picked it up. And not to mention, if you go back to the original Superman with Christopher Reeves, I think when he was 18, he went to the Fortress of Solitude. And he stayed there for like 18 years, if I'm not mistaken. So when he came out, he was 30-something, and he was ready to go. I just don't like the starting point of this one because he seems like he's really behind the 8 ball. Guy Gardner seemed to have more experience. Mr. River had more experience. Hawk Girl had more experience. And he like the new kid on the block. So I just didn't like that lens it was shown through. Just wasn't for me.
No, I get that. I think I'm more favorable towards the movie because I think because it being the first Superman movie I've seen in theater, plus because I've wanted a Superman that's like very not like, I don't want to see Superman very dark and broody like in Man of Steel and BVS. Like I want to see more of that light heartedness and you get that. And there's a lot of things I like in the movie, but we talked a little bit about it backstage. Is Superman in the Superman movie didn't feel like he was the most important character. Like, and to be honest, like he really wasn't even the coolest character in the movie. Like Mr. Terrific, I thought was cooler than him.
Mr. Terrific has the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And that, again, those were the things that bothered me. Things like Crypto was really only in there to save Superman's ass at the end.
Yeah.
They ignore things that Superman does in the movie that he could use into his favor that are explained in ways like his super breath blows them out of a black hole past the point of singularity or whatever you want to call it. Like, they're in the thing. And he's able not only to fly and keep them from going forward, it doesn't get them out, but then he blows and it gets them out. It's like, how strong is that? And then he never does it again. He never uses that in any way, shape, or form against any of the people he's going up against.
Yeah.
And so that always, to me, brings up a very big problem where it's like he only can do certain things because it comes down to a plot device that we have to do this here so he can do it. But when we don't want him to be overpowered, we're going to just take that away from him and make it not happen. He doesn't remember he did it, or whatever the excuse is. Again, Crypto has to come in the end, and with Crypto, he's able to beat Ultraman, which doesn't make much sense. That, he has to have that help. I don't know. I've seen it now 20 plus times or something like that, and every time I feel the same way every time. I like it, and then all of a sudden something happens. I'm like, yeah, can't get past this. Still can't get past this. And it's like, it's maddening because it looks so good. I don't mind the darkness of Man of Steel, but I agree with the people who think that, like, what Reeve showed in his Superman movies, he's a beacon of hope. He's, he looks like, he's lighthearted and all that. And I that's how I think it should look. I didn't have a problem with Henry Cavill, Man of Steel, but I do agree that it needs to look lighter.
Sure.
But at the same time, this is something that I think I heard back when I was a big fan of. I'm trying to think of all the movies he's done, but I'm looking here really quick to get it correct. All the Guardians of the Galaxy, I like those. Suicide Squad, I liked. What was it?
What else?
I mean, he really hasn't done a ton. Those are the biggest ones, but it's obvious he's an ensemble group.
Sure.
That's what he can handle. So I guess if I were a director like him and I knew that that's what I'm more comfortable with, I'd actually take myself out of this movie and directing it. I'd be like, no, this isn't for me. It has to be focused on one character. That character is the guy that has the damn title, Superman. Yeah. And the fact that to lean into the topic right now, to lean into that topic, the fact that his name is already on Man of Tomorrow makes me worry, because I know I'm going to get more of this, and that bothers me.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. Before I get into like the big point that I was trying to make a few minutes ago, but the problem even too with Superman is I feel like he tried to put so much stuff into it because he wanted to go, oh guys, look, we're doing a universe now, so look at all these characters that are going to be in this universe. And then with Man of Tomorrow, especially with the stuff with Peacemaker season 2, apparently that's gonna be like, that's kind of like build up towards whatever Man of Tomorrow is. I have a feeling Man of Tomorrow is going to be the same problem, where we're going to overstuff it with a bunch of characters to say, hey guys, we're connected. That's kind of the concern, at least with me, is that I feel like James Gunn feels like has to do too much. And he's trying to force stuff into it when he should let it come naturally. And I don't, because like the difference, and I'm going to use the peak of the MCU. I'm not going to use the MCU now, but where the MCU did it right to begin with is they let like all these characters, like it came naturally. Like it didn't feel like, oh, like we gotta. It's not like in Iron Man 1 where it's like, oh crap, guys, look, we're gonna do universe. So here's Captain America, Thor, Nick Fury. Like we're gonna overstuff it with everything. No, they told individual stories that eventually would connect to one another. And then once it got big enough, then okay, now we can incorporate these characters in as like side characters, but they don't completely take everything away. Example, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Yes, you had Black Widow in it, you had Nick Fury in it, but guess what? Captain America was still the main central character. Superman,
Well, go ahead.
Superman, it didn't really feel like that. It felt like he was there, and yes, he's a central character, but over the course of the movie, it started going to like these other characters that's like you kind of get buried behind these other characters.
Well, there's a point in the thing that Superman isn't in the movie for like 15 minutes, I think. It's like, wait a minute, how is your main character not in? And I hear other movies get called out for this, yet the James Gunn people who are like, yeah, this is right where we want to be. This is perfect. This is a great start. They're the same people who said that Zack Snyder and WB were doing it the wrong way when we went from Superman or Man of Steel to Wonder Woman, then into Batman versus Superman, or I think Aquaman came out before. It's like they had 3 movies and then they went right in and says, oh, this is too early to bring Batman versus Superman storyline into this. It's like, but now they're championing the fact that, oh, I think the Justice Gang was fine in it. I didn't see a problem. It's like, folks, it's the same problem, except instead of being in the 4th movie or whatever it was, it's in the very first movie he puts out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, that just to me is maddening to hear people talk out of one side of their mouth and then say the same, talk out of the other side of their mouth when they're talking about this. And I guess that's the thing. I'm hearing the same things you heard from the really big Snyder fans, from the James Gunn fans, and now what the James Gunn's fans were saying before, the Snyder fans are saying now. And it's like, folks, I mean, you both did bad things. Let's just be honest with ourselves, you know?
To me,
Right.
okay.
No, you go ahead, Danny.
The main thing, one of the things I always pick up when people criticize or critique the Man of Steel, I hear 3 reoccurring things why they didn't like it. First thing is Jonathan Kent pretty much telling Clark when he's a young boy, when he asked him, well, was I not supposed to save him? Then just let him die. So he said, I'm kind of paraphrasing. That's one thing that sticks in people's craw. Second thing is Superman got all this power and so fast. Why wouldn't Jonathan let him save him during the tornado? I keep hearing that reoccurring theme. Third thing is him kissing Lois while the destruction is going on. People are trapped and dying, that kind of stuff. He takes time out of all that to kiss Lois. Maybe those are. I get the first one why he told him that. I don't think he really meant that, but he was saying, look, if the world finds out what you can do and what you are, they're going to take you from us. So that is a father's love. That's a parent's love, being selfish and being protective at the same time. So I totally get that scene. The second one, I'm not quite sure why he didn't want Clark to save him. I don't know, because Clark had the speed to do it. But I guess that was the decision that he made because he still was being that selfish parent. He didn't want to try to explain, like, I saw you over there. I saw your leg broken, or hurt or injured. How'd you get over here? So I guess he didn't want to put Clark in that position. Another selfless, but some people criticize him about it. And the third thing, him kissing, I think that's just dramatic. Because at the end of it, he had to, in this one, once he saved everything, they rush and secretly into the mall, and everybody know they together, and he floats up and kisses her and all that kind of stuff. So they crucify Superman in one movie, with certain things. And then in this movie, when people try to crucify him or make out criticisms, then it's all, well, it's dark, it's this, it's that. It's not apples and oranges. It's the same thing. It's just Zack Snyder has a different version than James Gunn. And I just particularly like in this particular instance, I think Zack Snyder's vision was better. I don't want to see a weak and depowered Superman. You still can write it in a way because Lois and Clark on the CW did it. Superman
Sure.
was still strong. He was the man, but he had Hammer. He had his sons help him. So there are different things that you can do to still show him he's the bad, he's the alpha superhero, but at the same time still can write other characters in. Because I've heard of this Mr. Terrific, but I never knew he could do all that stuff that he did until I saw the movie, and it was fire.
Yeah.
But it should be an offense when a secondary character like Mr. Terrific steals the show or steals the scene. And to me, his scene was more entertaining than any scene that I saw Superman do. And that's, to me, that's a problem.
Yeah. No, it is. And, you know, and I'm going to switch gears here, kind of related to Superman, but it's something I brought up, and that is the box office, right? Now, I get it. Times are different. I understand that that by technicality, we have to quote unquote put things in a different standard, or we got to look at the box office now in a different standard. However, right, but I don't do that. I'm a numbers guy, right? Especially with superhero stuff.
I don't agree with that argument, but go ahead and continue.
Well, the point, well, I guess what I was trying to bring up is the movie didn't, I'm not saying it didn't, compared to, all right, let me put it this way. Compared to the other DC movies, yes, this did really well. Because last year, or in 2023, DC did not put out a movie that did what, it didn't, none of the movies they had out that year did well in the box office. Like, they were all bombs. Like, they were like, you can't argue that they were bombs because they were bombs.
I get what you're saying, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying the argument that because of inflation, time, whatever, that you got to compare it to older movies, correct? Are you saying something along those lines?
Well, what I'm saying is people want you, or like I've seen some people try to make the argument that, well, with it being different, with the times being different, with inflation, et cetera,
Yeah.
you know, you have to, I don't know what the word is for it, but I feel like
You have to
I don't
make
know if
allowances.
yes,
And one quick point, and I don't want to mean to interrupt you. I would agree with that had not Spider-Man made the money it made
yes,
during the same period, more or less. It ain't like Spider-Man happened a decade ago. It happened a couple years ago, and it smashed. Superman
yes,
should have made just as much money as Spider-Man, and it didn't do
yes,
it.
Well, Deadpool and Wolverine did it.
Yep.
yeah.
So that
And
argument doesn't hold water anymore.
oh, and trust me, Danny, I agree with you. I'm just saying it more from what I've heard from other people.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying whoever is making that argument needs to stop making that argument because that doesn't no longer hold water. Had not Deadpool and Wolverine made the money, had not Spider-Man made the money, whatever movie you want to put down in the last 10 years, had not make $1 billion, then I could have, okay, you're right. Inflation, times
Avatar.
change, blah, 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 blah. But
yes.
it ain't that does not apply.
And here's the thing too, you know, and like I said before, compared to the other DC movies that came out 2 years ago, yes, this made, you know, decent money. And yes, if you want to throw in well, it made more than any of the MCU movies that came out this year, I'd say, well, yes, you aren't wrong, but let's also call it for what it is. This movie had a $250 million budget. It only made, I think, what, 615 or somewhere around there, 615 million. Is that a number that I'd be parading around going, oh my God, guys, look, this was success? No, you can't. Like, realistically, if I'm WB and I'm looking at this, I don't want to hear well, if you count streaming and you count this, this, and this, it's going to make its money back. If we're looking at the theatrical numbers, it was not a financial success. It wasn't, and I talked about this with a friend of mine, and I said, look, Superman this movie had to do really well box office wise. It had to be a smash hit box office wise, whether it be 750 million to 800 million or just a billion. Like, I'm not saying it was going to make a billion, but I'd say maybe closer to 800 million. Then I would have said, okay, yes, you have something. But when you're making 615 million, I'd be concerned if I'm WB, because now I'm going to look at James Gunn and go, what the fuck? You sold me a bill of goods and you're saying, oh, we're going to get things right, and now it only made 615 million.
Yeah, I agree with your statement 100%, and that's kind of the reason I'm going to use the Star Wars example why they can't get rid of Kathleen Kennedy,
Right.
because her movies, whether you like it or not, whether you think they're crap or not, they all made $1 billion.
Well, most of them, not all of them, but most. Of
them. The main three, the sequels.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
2 million for the first one, Force Awakens, $1 million whatever, and $1 million whatever for that dreadful thing, Rise of Skywalker. So she is kind of putting the money where her mouth is, so to speak. I think it's crap. I don't like it. What's up, Fatal?
Fatal, good to see you, man. Not like what I'm seeing with the DCU.
Yeah, me and Fatal talked back and forth earlier today, and I definitely agree. It's crazy. I'm telling you, if they mess up, I did a video on this. If they mess up, if they foobar, look at that reference. That's Tango and Cash. If they foobar Batman, James Gunn is in trouble.
Well, and the thing is Batman was supposed to be like, I think, the third or fourth movie in this series.
I think it's the third.
No, it's still not yet announced when it's going to be released. I looked it up. Here's the thing. Crazy. Right now it's Superman came out this year. Supergirl comes out next year. Late next year's Clayface, which again we can get into that here in a minute. Man of Tomorrow's 2027. The Authority, The Brave and the Bold, Swamp Thing, and Wonder Woman. Those 4 are to be announced.
All that before Batman?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's my point. Batman should have been your second movie.
Well, I'm hearing now, and like I said, I don't have concrete with this rumor. You hear a lot of rumor and stuff that he don't want to intermingle the Batman in with his Batman and trying to put distance between that. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know.
That's just stuff fine.
You hear around.
That's fine.
I will say,
go ahead.
I just will say that could be confusing for people that don't know the difference. I like the Batman to be over there in Elseworld. It would be nice if he was introduced into this, but I don't think he's going to do that. So that can be a little confusing. Let's say, for instance, that the Batman comes out next year. I'm just saying, I'm not sure when the release date is. But in my mind, if it was to come out next year, I wouldn't want my Batman to be in the same year or maybe the following year. Maybe let a little bit of time, 18 months, 24 months come in and do that. But Supergirl has to tie. Supergirl, the Authority, Clayface has to tie in Ursula and Batman the same way the Penguin did. I don't know why they're not using the Penguin that was a success, had an actress on there that won an Oscar. Why they did not use that to springboard Batman? Whether you put the Pats and Batman with whoever you want to, that's what they should have been using that, because people were drawn to and liked the Penguin. Fantastic show. Why they're not using that momentum to promote Batman, I don't understand that.
I just don't understand. And see, here's the thing. I don't understand why Clayface is even in the first 3 movies.
I agree.
You don't introduce Clayface before you do Batman. You're not going to do Batman first, then you wait. Say Clayface. I mean, you can put it in the can. You can hold on to it. You can do the money. You pay for it and all that. That's whatever. I
agree with that statement. I just made the same similar statement.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think the only argument I can make for it is that that's not necessarily completely James Gunn's fault, as Matt Reeves did. His whole stuff was way before Gunn came in, so I could kind of see, like, that's not necessarily, that's more of a WB fuck up than Gunn's, but I feel like Gunn kind of had the chance to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and he just didn't. Like it
Well,
was.
yeah.
You've kind of fucked yourself here because if you now because the Pattinson movie's not coming out till like what 27.
I think so.
yeah, but also the other problem, like I said, with not just okay, we'll throw Clayface out of this. The Brave and the Bold as your Batman movie, again, you're making it about multiple characters, and I know he's not the one that I don't think he's directing it. Andy like Machete
The
or
guy that did the Flash.
yeah. Okay, so this is your guy, and you're doing it as an ensemble piece. Again, it's like, why can't we just do Batman? Do a Batman movie. The fact that he's taking things that are primarily comic book adaptations, which is fine.
He's doing things that he likes, not what the fan
Yeah,
likes.
that's the other thing. It's what he likes. It's what comic book people want to see. But we've said this before. Movies can't be designed for comic book people to go watch it alone because there are not enough people out there to make a movie successful because of that. And
What's
if
that
you
one
fuck
he's
it
showing
up,
now?
what?
What's the one he's showing now? Creature Commandos, whatever.
Well, yeah, that came a little while ago.
I'm saying, but wasn't that his baby?
Yeah.
See, nobody really cares. I've never
Well,
heard of
that's
that. Go ahead.
It appeals to certain people, and that's fine. And lots of
Not
people
me.
like it. And I didn't think it was too bad. It's like we're going with things. And Brave and the Bold also is one of the hardest things I think you can tackle as your first Batman movie. As a live action movie, it's even tougher because there's some division on whether or not the animated group got it right. And if you ask anybody, DC animated movies are the better ones of anything, really. People love the DC animated movies. Yeah, there's a few here and there that aren't as treasured, but there are some that are really held dear. And you're picking something that, man, you're picking tough ones to tackle. It's like, I don't know. And yeah, I don't disagree that taking the Battinson and making him the main Batman might have been a good move. I understand why they didn't like Danny. You know, it's Elseworlds. But you're really playing with fire having. I mean, I think it was difficult before. It's more difficult now because it continues, and now you're starting a whole new thing again. And now you have to have Batman as one of your main characters. So it's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, or like the three big ones. And now two of your big characters aren't going to be there for till 29, maybe 28 at best. So another 2.5 years or so, probably looking more like 29. And then that means Wonder Woman will probably be in 30. I don't know if it can make it that far. And especially if you're putting Clayface out there. When I saw Clayface up here to be released September 11th next year, besides the fact it's September 11th, I think it's going to go just about as well as September 11th did in 2001. Honestly, I think it could be the downfall of the DCU to put that out there like that.
And here's the thing with that too, Chris. I mean, because I first of all, the idea, because you're doing like it's going to be a body horror-esque movie. Not everybody's going to want to see that shit. Like, even though it has a DC brand on it, and I understand James Gunn's whole ideology that, every DC movie should have its own identity and tone, which is fine. You can do that, but now is not the time to do it. It's way too soon to do it. And not for nothing, this was the issue with the DCEU to begin with, is you're trying to do movies that nobody really gives a shit about instead of focusing on the characters that matter. You should be focusing on your core members. Like, you should be focusing on guys like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You should also be focusing on characters like, your core Justice League members like Green Lantern. Yes, he's getting a show, but it's kind of stupid that he's getting a show. And then you have Flash, which again, it just doesn't make sense that you're going to have a Green Lantern show, but you're going to have a Clayface movie. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
And you would
The
think,
Clayface show.
Right.
you would think that they would see all the missteps that Marvel is doing
Yes.
and would do the total opposite, but they're not doing it. I agree with you 100%, Austin. They should do the foundation with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, maybe throw in Green Lantern. They already did the Flash. The Flash, only thing that say the Flash, and they didn't say the Flash, but only thing that made the Flash interesting was Michael Keaton Batman. And I think I'm leaning more towards Ben Affleck, my favorite Batman, but Michael Keaton was the better Batman in that movie, hands down. It wasn't even close. But what the mistakes they're making is they're not laying a good foundation. And these are two things I've done videos on. They should have let Henry Cavill stay, even at the Black Adam. They could have revamped the whole Black Adam. I know the Rock thing, and it was a fiasco, and an ego and all that kind of stuff was in there. I get all that. But I would have kept Henry Cavill as my main, because I think most of the fans would prefer Henry Cavill. Number two, Alan Ritchson wants to play Batman. He's been on record saying, I want to play Batman. I will play Batman for free. You daggone Skippy, I would want to play Batman. He turned that down for whatever reason. He said he got other plans for Alan Richardson. Number three, I just did a video a couple weeks ago about Scott Adkins. Now I know people are saying Scott Adkins is not a strong actor. I've seen him in movies. He is more martial arts. But I do believe, and I could be wrong, that if he was given an opportunity, that he would work on his acting chops. And we don't have to see Bruce Wayne, but here or there, sprinkled in, right? We don't have to see him. We saw more Batman than Bruce Wayne in Batman v Superman. We saw, I think, in the Batman's trilogy, the Christopher Nolan, we saw more Batman than we saw Bruce Wayne. He just had to be competent during the Bruce Wayne moments. He didn't have to get an Oscar. We don't have to have an Oscar performance as Bruce Wayne. He's going to have somebody that's competent and believable. I think he could pull that off because the fight scenes that he could do as Batman would be fantastic. Now, people are saying, Danny, he's too old. He's 49 years old. I get that, but I'd rather see a 49-year-old that's in shape, good action than what we're seeing now. What we're seeing now, everybody, most of the people are criticizing it. It's crap. It's trash. It's caca. Whatever descriptive word you want to use to it that's negative, that's what the DCU is going now. So what you're doing is not working. So how about try doing what the fans are doing and maybe it'll work. But he's smarter than we are. He has his vision. He has this and that. And it's just like the title of tonight's show. It's doomed to fail.
And to play off that too, and I want to play off basically everything here. It's like, this guy's a genius, right? Like he's calling himself like, oh, I'm gonna save the DCU, whatever. Okay, your first movie, Superman. Okay, makes sense. I mean, you should start with Superman, and then your second movie, and I'm not gonna count the shows here. I'm just counting the movies. But when your second movie, Supergirl. Okay, that's a little weird, but like, okay, fine. Like, it's a follow up to Superman, kinda. I mean, whatever, sure. Even though realistically, Supergirl, if we're gonna look at this from a realistic standpoint, she's kind of an untested character, and you're gonna try and put a movie out with her, and it's like, okay. I mean, I'm sure. And then you're doing Clayface as your third movie, and it's like, okay, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, that's really stupid. And then you have plans to do a Sergeant Rock movie. Does anybody here really know who Sergeant Rock is?
No, I don't.
Like, maybe the hardcore comic book fan does. Like, even I don't really know who he is. He's just like, I guess he's like I don't even know what the fuck. The point is, I understand James Gunn's whole thing is like, oh, I can bring unknown characters into these, like, into the superhero thing. Like, yes, he did things like Guardians of the Galaxy, and we'll use Peacemaker too. You brought in a character that not a lot of people knew, and you made him mainstream. Okay, great, that's fine and all, but you should not be doing this when you're just starting up your universe. That's not the way to go.
To piggyback what you said, I'm sorry, Austin, I agree with you 100%. Because it's like when you are creating a new business. You become an entrepreneur. You want to sell products that people are going to buy, come back and repeat buy. You know, if you know you live in Florida, people probably going to want oranges and mangoes, bananas. If you go to another part of the country, they may want apples, cherries, blueberries. You got to know your audience. You got to know the people that you're selling to. And he seems I'm in Florida. I don't want to sell bananas, oranges, and mangoes that I know selling off the shelf. I'm going to sell jackfruit. I'm going to sell kiwi, or I'm going to sell whatever. And it's staying there and rotting on the shelf. So I don't understand that concept. Yeah, and I'm kind of going against the argument I always say: it's your property. You do with it what you want. But guess what? When you start making zeros and these banks is loaning you this money and you ain't returning and you're not making a return on their money, then guess what? You're gonna be out on the street. So to me, if I was Danny Gunn, I'd be listening to some of these people with these good ideas. I would be having
Well,
my actors go to the comic book stores and get with these comic owners and say, "Look, I'm Danny Graham. I got the role of Batman. What comic book series should I read of Batman that's going to get me in touch with it?" But we see videos of him behind the scene and tell him, "Well, you need to act like this." No, if you don't know what Batman does, if you don't know how Superman thinks, Wonder Woman thinks, whatever, but these obscure characters like Oscar just said, Sergeant Rock. I don't even know who that is. I didn't know who Peacemaker was before John Cena took the role. Half these people that they're talking about, I don't have a clue. Nor did I want to have a clue. He just happened to hit pay. One last point, I'm quick. He just happened to hit pay dirt with Mr. Terrific. But that was an anomaly.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna be able to do that again. I don't think he is.
And why is it that matters? I mean, don't get me wrong. Mr. Terrific was great. That's the problem. That's the problem. When you're giving okay, so let's go through this really quick here.
I think you're not going to say the same thing, Chris. Because I'm saying because Mr. Terrific was good, he gonna think everything else. No, that was an anomaly.
I know exactly, but here's my point: is that if it's us, let's say we're in charge of the DCU or DCEU. I really don't give a crap what you want. DCU. It's the three of us. We're sitting down at the table. Okay, Superman. And I say, okay, well, Superman, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, that's what we want. Austin comes in and says, well, I'd like to introduce Ultraman, and and I want Crypto to be in it. Danny comes in and says, well, let's explore the origins of the Justice League, but let's bring a Green Lantern into it. And let's bring Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific. So we've all dedicated our characters to it. But now we're going to sit there and go like, okay, fair enough. Let's just put all these guys in this movie. But in order to make this Superman movie, we gotta put a hierarchy out here. So 1, Superman, Clark Kent, number 1, guaranteed. This is his movie. Number 2, Lois Lane. And maybe number 2A or 2B, Lex Luthor. Now let's go down. Lex Luthor is going to be the main bad guy, but he's going to have his henchman. That's going to be Ultraman. And then next, where we go. And that's where we should be. But no, it's like Mr. Terrific's up here and Superman's like down here. And then you talk about Crypto. Crypto is fine in this movie if he isn't the reason. If to me, and again, this is my opinion, Crypto's fine in this movie as comic relief. Okay, fine, but he ends up being the reason he's in this movie is to save Superman in the end. Other than that, tell me what Crypto is in this movie for.
I've always associated Crypto with being with Superman when he was Superboy.
Yes.
Once he becomes Superman, you very seldom see him and Crypto together. And I know Crypto by the comic book is Supergirl's dog pet. I have no problem with that. But when I mainly saw Crypto in the comic book world, I've only seen him when he was Superboy, but
Yes.
he wore the uniform, but Crypto was with him. When he's grown and doing his thing, I very seldom read stories or seen comic books where Superman and Crypto were a team. So to me, that's why I jokingly say Superboy, but in all intents and purposes, he looked more like Superboy in this movie than Superman. Because
Yeah.
and then at the end, when he said he wants to be human, or he is human and he makes
He's as
mistakes,
much human as anybody else. Yeah.
I said nah.
Well,
I wasn't really
I'm
feeling
not
that.
sure how many people know this about Superman the movie from '78, but Crypto's in that. Most people don't know that, but they didn't. They totally wrote it out. They thought about it, and then they were like, "How do we do this?" The dog.
I remember a dog being, but I never.
The dog. Look at the dog though. It's a white dog, if I remember right. And they were
like a gold
going
dog.
to what? I think that's in the Man of Steel. And hold on, I have to go back and look. But from what things I've read said, Crypto is supposed to be in that, and they decided to just get away from it because they didn't have any clue, let alone how to make Superman fly, but how to do Crypto in a way that made sense. And that makes sense because you didn't have the special effects and all that. But so I mean, he's supposed to be comic relief in this, but then you make him the reason why Superman, is able to defeat his twin or whatever.
Yeah, it's just one of, and then to top it all off, James Gunn came out recently. Like, I watched all Peacemaker season 2. I thought it was a rocky start. I thought the first couple episodes were like, nah, they're okay, but it's kind of like a, nah. And then as it progressed in the middle, it's like, okay, this is getting really good. And then like Alien Earth, it dropped the ball in the finale. And I understand the argument of like, okay, it does connect to like what's going to happen in Man of Tomorrow, which is fine. But when you're James Gunn and you're like, oh no, I'm keeping these episodes. No one's gonna watch these episodes until they come out because I want because these are gonna be like the finale is gonna be one of the best things ever. And then you put out an episode that's kind of like, you kind of fuck yourself there. Like it's a situation of you overhyped it, and now because of you doing so, now you kind of hurt it. And then when you're saying stuff like Peacemaker is going to be is going to be a big major player in the DCU, I don't know how to feel about that, especially when, again, Superman should be one of your key players, but then you're going to throw in Peacemakers like, oh, no, he's like an integral part in this universe. It's like, I'm just a little like, why?
Because it's James Gunn's character that he brought to the other DC universe, and again, I hear Margot Robbie's going to have a play. I've heard, I don't know, but I think she's still supposed to be Harley Quinn in this group in the movies, and if that's true, it's because he likes people that he's worked with, and who's going to stop him?
Nobody, because he's the head honcho now, even though I don't know. It's because like you got Margot Robbie's apparently coming back as Harley Quinn. You have Jolo, the guy who played Miguel in Cobra Kai. He's staying on as Blue Beetle. It's the picking and choosing is ridiculous. And then Viola Davis still as Waller too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, I mean, and this is why I say that they missed the opportunity. They touched on the opportunity, but they missed the opportunity to use the Flash for the reset. And a lot of people were really sure that's what they were going to do. And they hinted at it by changing out the Batman 3 times. They did, they had Ben Affleck, then they went to Michael Keaton, and then they went to George Clooney. That exploration is great. If you could have done it throughout the whole movie, change different parts of it, and have him come back, and more things were changed than just Batman, and then continued that change in the remaining DC movies to show that what the Flash did put a rift into space and time. And then honestly, you should have had James Gunn work with the remaining people from the DCU to do something more like a Crisis on Infinite Earths to solidify why Peacemaker came over. And if Margot Robbie does return, why Margot Robbie's back, why Waller makes it through, why we want to make these connections. That's fine. It's not like you can't do that. It's just you need to make the connections and tell us why you do that.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, here you go. I mean, the fact that in Superman, the movie, because I already heard that when I saw Peacemaker season 2 coming out, I'm like, why are they doing this? Isn't he with the DCEU? And they said, oh no, he's coming over to the DCU. I'm like, what the heck? Okay, fine. He's coming over to the DCU. Give me the series first. Explain to me how he comes over. Then have him in the movie. No, we released the movie. He's in a 5-second clip on a talk show, and then he has a series. And it's like, this makes no sense in the context that I have no clue how he showed up here.
Yeah, and to be honest, like the way that they kind of try to explain it by just saying, "Oh no, this has always existed in this universe the entire time," but however, the ending of season 1, it wasn't the Justice League; it was the Justice Gang, and it's like, okay, like, and especially if you're gonna bring like this kind of multiverse elements into it, you could have done something where, okay, he was in the DCEU at first, but then something happens with the rift, the dimensional thing that he has that eventually causes like his, like whatever, like the characters from Peacemaker merge into the DCU, and then that rift could cause like a thing where Rick Flag Sr. finds out about it, etc., etc. There's a better way to do it, but they went about it the laziest way possible.
Yeah, and again, the title of the stream, is DCU doomed to fail. I don't know if it's doomed to fail.
With this captain at the helm, it is.
Well, I don't.
Share this clip when you get a chance, All Snitter.
Sure.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you might be right, Danny, and maybe I don't know if that's where I'm going with it, but I'm going to say, well, he was the wrong director for Superman for sure, but I think that it may not be doomed to fail, but it's already started on a downwards.
It's walking and quacking like a duck.
It is, and that's the thing. It is very well on its way to fail. Now, does that mean it's doomed? No. We have seen movies start off rough and get better in series. We have seen it. I think if you ask anybody, Batman Begins is not as good of a movie as The Dark Knight.
I agree.
So there is
Batman Begins didn't suck like this.
That's true.
Not suck. It was not underwhelming to me.
No, but the point is you can still,
you can improve
upon this. There's plenty of room for improvement. You can make it.
I would give Batman Begins maybe a 7.58. Superman, lucky to get a 6 6.5, the highest I'd ever give it.
I'm
What?
still like close to a 7 on it, but I still just don't get enjoyment from watching it.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, let's play this a real short clip.
James Gunn is the wrong director, writer, creator for this thing.
I saw Chewbacca on the cover of People magazine. I was like, oh my God.
He's just wrong for it. It's Guardians of the Galaxy with Superman in it. And so that means it's all kind of a mess. It's an overstuffed movie in every way. It's visually overstuffed. In terms of plot, the plot holes are big enough to drive a truck through them. There are character problems. James Gunn's sensibility is always to be subversive. That is what he does. He does subversive in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? He takes a comic book movie and he turns it into sort of a potty-mouthed sitcom.
Don't drink fountain water, you idiot. That's disgusting.
And he does the same thing with Suicide Squad. He takes that same sensibility, and now he's doing that with Superman.
Superman robots, I thought I told you to keep an eye on him.
We feed the canine, but he is unruly. And he realizes we are not flesh and blood and couldn't, in our heart of hearts, care less whether he lives or dies.
And I get that after the interpretation of the Snyderverse is over serious, he's reversing himself into completely the opposite direction. But what that means is that he's constantly subverting everything.
I was raised with a dog that was my sister.
I think that it's a betrayal of the original IP and mildly upsetting. Not like hugely upsetting, but mildly upsetting. That is my critique of James Gunn. He is not the right person for this film. James Gunn is the wrong.
I don't disagree.
No, I don't either. And James Gunn is he's kind of like Zack Snyder in a way where he's a very niche director. Like, he can do a certain style. He just can't work outside of that style enough to where it can work. And I think, especially with Superman, I just don't think he was the right fit to direct a film like that. Like, if you wanted to do something like if he was directing stuff that was more in his wheelhouse, then maybe, like, if you wanted to do like a follow-up to Suicide Squad at some point, if you want to continue stuff with Peacemaker, like, you could do it with characters like that, but with a main character like Superman, and like, I don't want to hear James Gunn's a comic book fan, like, he understands. It's like, I'm done hearing that argument too.
If he understood it, he'd be able to understand that a Superman movie should be about Superman, not everything and Superman. It's like, no, Superman trumps all things. If he's weakened, if he's less powered, the argument was, but this isn't the full powered Superman. Fine, but he still has to stand on his own. He can't rely on a dog. He can't rely on Mr. Terrific. He has to stand on his own, and he does it at any point in this movie.
No.
I mean, Lois has to go find somebody to go save him, or at least try to find him and figure out what to do to get him out.
Yep.
That's like, I don't remember any time. I mean, okay, let's go with, I'm going to go down a road on that one really quick here. Sorry. Superman 3 is not a good movie, let's just be honest. But a good scene to explain something here is that when he splits into Clark and evil Superman, or whatever you want to call him, and he fights himself, is very much a Superman scene. Nobody's there to say, Clark, you're better than this. Clark, you're the good guy. Or Superman, you aren't evil. Nobody's there. It's him and it's Clark. And it's Clark or that earthbound taught to be good. Because that's the thing. Superman could have been bad. Say Lex's dad or somebody evil had found him. He could have become evil. It's the fact that his parents taught him to be good. And the message that his parents left him while he's a baby going through. So some osmosis of remembering that message. That's what makes him good. So when he's in that junkyard fighting himself, there's nobody else there. I don't think James Gunn could have done that in this. But that's the thing. At some point, he should have picked himself up and said, you have to figure out how to win. You have to stop this, because if you don't stop this, there's a country that's going to be overran, ransacked, and slaughtered. The earth is going to be at risk. Clark or Superman, either one, takes that on their shoulder and says, I have to. I may not have the power, I may not know the way, but I have to find a way. No, not in this one. We're going to give people to him to help take pieces of what's going on to help him. And while, yes, there is a foundation for that happening sometimes in the comics, the Justice League, for instance, they're integral evenly together and they fight together. In this, there's not really any one time except for the kaiju fight that they're all working together. And even then, he's separated because he's trying to figure out a way to take it someplace and have it studied, and they're just trying to kill it and get rid of it. So the understanding here is when you put Superman on it, hell, I would have accepted Super Friends better than Superman as a movie title for this. But it's just he doesn't understand. Superman has got to stand on his own in a movie titled for himself.
And then in the sequel,
I agree.
And now in the sequel, you're gonna have him team up with Lex Luthor, which and then they're gonna bring probably the Justice Gang into that as well, and bring in the Peacemaker characters into it. It's again, it's almost like he's missing the point on how, and it's again, if you want to do a universe, that's fine, you can connect things. But I'll use this as an example. Imagine if the MCU started with the movie like Iron Man 2, where it's like, oh, look, here's Iron Man, but guess what? We're going to also introduce War Machine, Black Widow, Shield. We're going to do cameos from Captain America and Thor, and we're going to bring in all this stuff. You think the MCU would have gone far? Probably not.
No,
I
just
mean,
like if they would have done Shang-Chi first, or they would have done Ant-Man first, it wouldn't have made sense. But then
No.
once they did Iron Man, they did the Hulk, then they did Thor, then they introduced Captain America, they laid the groundwork, and then they slowly introduced other characters up to it. Like I said, I don't understand why James Gunn or WB or whoever the decision maker over there is trying to reinvent the wheel. If I see another company's over there doing something successful, maybe I can't do it exactly like them, but I can get as close to it without infringing on some kind of trademark or something. And I could do the same, I could use the same steps, but different ingredients. They could do the same thing that the MCU did, but they use different ingredients. I don't understand why that seems to be so hard.
No one knows. And
Well,
I want a quick example. Right now, we're going through a revamp at my department of doing a reverbiage or rewording of one of our policies. First thing my supervisor said, and what I did last week was, hey, I'm going to call this agency, this agency, this agency, this agency, and see what they're doing, see if they can send me a copy of that, and we can pick and choose what's going to be added or deleted from our current policy and make a better policy. That same thing, I think we've all said before, Chris said earlier tonight, the DCU animation. If my animation department in my company is killing it, their stories are good, the animation is good, there's no plot holes or there's this, why not go over there and pick those guys? But hey, tell me, how do you do this? Where did you get the information on Superman? Do this, this, this. Well, it's like their ego won't allow them to ask for help. And to me, that's crazy because what's on the line is millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and the support of your fan base. You're just seeing the crap on. So, to me,
well, you see,
crazy.
what's funny is, I don't know about you, Austin, but I think Danny and I, if we were asked which is our favorite comic book group of characters, I would say DC for me. I think Danny's the same way. Batman, Superman.
I'd agree with that.
You have ultimately better characters to start with than Marvel. And the thing is, Danny brought up Iron Man. Everybody. And so let's go back in the time machine really quick and talk about this way. People think that those of us who talk bad about this movie, or people who talk bad about Snyder's movies, they're like, oh, you're just saying that because it's this person, it's that. No, everybody, when we heard that Michael Keaton, and you don't remember this, Snyder, when Michael Keaton was announced as Batman, everybody lost their shit and went like, what the hell are they doing? Who the hell wants him as Batman? He's a comedian. He's not going to do this. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. How can he? And then it came out and everybody was like, holy crap, that's the best movie we've seen in forever. Blah, 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 blah. And it changed people's mind. Everybody heard Iron Man's going to be the first Marvel movie. And everybody's like, what the hell? Who cares about Iron Man? What the hell are we starting with Iron Man? Start with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's your character. That's the main guy. Da, 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 da. And then you heard, oh God, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. You heard he was going to do it. And then everyone's like, oh my God, the drug guy? The guy that's always been on drugs and can't get, he's not allowed to be on a set because nobody will insure him and all this stuff. That was his thing. And then it comes out and everyone's like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's not like people have not thought, what the hell are you doing? I said it before this movie came out. And I said it actually after I'd seen 3/4 to 80% of it, because I saw it like 5 months before it came out as a test screening. And then they went and did a whole bunch of reshoots. And then I saw it again like 3 months before. And then they said, okay, and we're going to give you a ticket. Like, I think it was a week before it came out. And I got to see the whole thing finally. But I felt the same way I do now when I watch it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I was like, I like the look of it and all this stuff. But the thing is they did this. The thing I said when they started doing this, when they took the Lois actress and they took Corian Sweat and they took the actors and actresses and they went and did like a mini, to Chicago, I think New York and a few other cities. And they did the things where they met the fans and stuff. That hasn't been done in years. And I was like, I don't get this. I said, this is a really weird promotional stunt to do. And I said, it really came across, as I said, it feels like they're going out and meeting people before the movie fails to make up for the movie failing. And I feel more like that now, going like they're trying to just hype people up. And then you hear a lot of people who are for this movie saying, oh yeah, but the toys are selling like crazy. I don't give a crap about toys. Toys shouldn't be what makes the movie great. If anything, toys should accentuate the movie, which is why the Star Wars craze for the original trilogy, especially, the toys were just an added bonus because we had 3 years to think about it. So when the toys were there, we all played with the toys and we thought about what was next. It isn't about making the movie better with the toys, or the toys don't make the movie better. It just helps the movie stay. And so all of this in this, it's like this whole movie has been nothing but everybody telling you, oh no, this is exactly where we want to be. The fans of the movie say it, Gunn says it, everybody keeps saying, no, this is where we want to be. This is right where we want to be. And I'm like, that's sad. I think mediocrity is where you want to be, is what you're saying.
I suppose so. I mean, it's I guess it's really sad on my end because DC had so much potential with their characters, and the previous regime just didn't understand. It felt like with the previous regime, it was, we're going to throw shit at the wall to see what would stick because they panicked and went, well, Just League didn't do really well. So guess what? We're just going to do whatever we want to see, okay, maybe this will be the next big thing. But it never came to fruition. And we're seeing the same thing here.
See,
almost.
I think Warner Brothers is just doomed with this because they don't understand. Again, Danny said what he said about the animated people. I've said it too. I'm like, if the animated side of this is always doing well, or for the most part doing well, bring those people up and say, hey guys, you did the, you did what was it, Justice League Apocalypse, you did Justice League Dark Side, you did all these movies, these were really well received. Write us a Superman movie. We need you to write it, and we're going to bring you over here and explain, like, not how to shoot it, but what would you do if you were animating it, so we can kind of try to say, okay, that means we translate it this way on screen. Doing those things, mixing the two together, would probably have been a better idea. And Warner Brothers seems to have this issue of not wanting to wait until something's ready. I think that's why Justice League failed, because they went through, and because Joss Whedon wanted to take over, or didn't want to, but he was given them the reins. He had to go back and shoot, I think it's 70% of the movie or 60%, something like that, to get directing credit. So they had to go back and reshoot a whole bunch of stuff when they should have just said, listen, we got quite a bit of stuff in the can. Let's give the guy we gave the reins to time to come back and finish his movie. Because now that we've seen it, we're like, well, hell, if we had gotten that, and not the 4-hour version, let's be honest, he would have had to cut it down. But I'm sure that they could have cut it down better. Granted, though, I don't know, because Batman versus Superman was cut down by the studio, not by him. And if you watch the director's version of it, it is better. It's not a ton better, but it is better. So I don't know. But I think people get too much ego in a sense. And I think that's where James Gunn is right now. James Gunn is just like, I'm not listening to you because I know I'm right. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna. I keep looking at that Clayface movie and say that's it. That's going to be the movie that sinks all of this, I think.
Well, especially with this, this is the strong rumor right now, is the WB and Paramount, or they're going to get bought out.
Mm-hmm.
Many people are going, well, if Paramount buys them out, James Gunn is fucked, because they're
maybe,
which it's a maybe, but if I'm Paramount and I'm looking at the numbers for Superman, and I looked at the reception to the finale of Peacemaker, they're gonna look at James Gunn and they're gonna go, look, we're not getting a return on our investment, on W's investment. At the end of the day, they're gonna look at James Gunn and go, look, if we're gonna save money by getting rid of you and just doing our own thing, we're gonna get rid of you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I would say that, much like the purchase of Discovery, WB, all that happened right before the switchover, they had Batgirl in the can, they had started Supergirl, and basically they wiped them out and said, nope, nobody's ever going to see these movies. And they didn't say that they were so horrible. They just decided not to release them. And I think what you're saying there, if Paramount buys out the Discovery Warner Brothers group within the next 6 months to maybe a year, and right about the time that Supergirl is due to come out, which is June 26th next year, if they buy him by that time, there's a good chance they say, listen, you've done 2 movies, we don't care now. We're early enough into this that we can just throw these out and we can start over. We're going to find somebody else. We're going to go in and basically tell them the truth. You can't rely on stuff that's obscure comic book nerd stuff. We have to keep this more mainstream. We have to be seeing, and I'm going to go totally kind of against what I've said in the past when they got mad about Man of Steel not making enough and Batman versus Superman not making enough. They can say though, after it's come out, you should have made 750 to 8 on Superman. You didn't. And then if Supergirl is not doing well at that time, you can say you should have made this much money on this. Not start with an expectation. You should look at it after the fact and said expectations should have been this. Warner Brothers back when Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman came out, we're already saying beforehand 800 million, a billion, and things like that before the movie even hit theaters. That was the problem. After a movie goes out, a year after, you can look at it and say, no, that movie should have been done. It should have been an easy 750 million. I think if they buy it out within the next 6 months to a year, James Gunn, if what Fatal J said, and I don't know, we can look that up, if his contract is up next year and this is bought out, they're just going to say, we're just parting ways. We're done. You just go do something. And to be honest, at that point, James Gunn will probably go back and do stuff with Marvel again.
What's giving the fans that like Superman an argument is that Man of Steel is great, everybody harping on whatever. It only made about, I'm looking at it now, about $60,000 more. No, 55 million more.
With money being worth less.
Yeah, Man of Steel came out what year?
2013, I think.
I'm looking at it now.
What year was it? What year did Man of Steel come out?
2013.
Dollar was worth
2013. So that's what, 14 years ago? No, 12 years ago.
So here's when you use that argument, here's what I say. Then you have to add inflation into it. You have to, because you're saying money then to money now. Add 2.79%.
What was the dollar?
It was $1.39 or $1 in 2013. It was worth $1.39 today. It's a 2.79% in inflation. So if you take what Man of Steel made and times it by 2.79, that's what it would have made in today's money. And it dwarfs what Man of Steel did. I know Man of Steel, but Superman 2025. And Austinator and I have had this conversation because as a numbers guy, and people say, well, you can't add inflation into it. You have to. If you're going to compare yesteryear to today, you have to understand that the dollar amount then is not worth the dollar amount now. So if you pull a movie forward into today, you have to add the inflation. If you take a movie from today back, you have to take it out.
So you're saying the dollar is stronger today than it was in 2013?
It just automatically goes up. It's inflation. It's not necessarily stronger. It's just inflation. Money today, a dollar went further then than it does now. So the dollar in 2013 would have been worth $1.39 today. So that means no, the dollar now is less strong.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
And so, what did you say? Man of Steel, man?
270.
500. What?
670.
670 times that by 2.79%. I'll do it right now. Let me find my calculator here. We'll just go 670. Oh, 670. Oh, God, pick the right one. There we go. Times 2.79 percent. Boom. Equals Oh, wrong way. No. 670. Or 267. It would have made 2,401,000,000 in today's money, is what it says. Double. No, actually, is that right? Six. I guess take it by two, actually. So 670 million times two, basically, is what you do. About 1.3 billion, give or take, is what the money today is what it would have made. That's why not Superman. That's why Star Wars is still one of the top grossing movies of all time.
I don't think that math's right either, Chris. Add $154 million to the 670, and that'd be 2%.
Actually, yeah. Hold on, I'll figure it out here. Hold on.
670 million
Mm-hmm.
times 154 million. I mean, plus 154 million.
Oh, here.
It would have made about $824 million.
Maybe hold on.
It had to come out today.
Right now.
Oh, Fatal J's still here.
Cool. 670
plus 100
million so I'm just going through the calculator here. 931 million or billion, a million, 776,765 dollars. So almost $1 billion.
Wow.
So I mean, it dwarfed it like by over 300,000 in that
300 million
thought process. Yeah, 300 million. Sorry. Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, I just think that they just need to focus on the characters. And if your movie has the character name in it, it needs to be about that character.
What's also hurt it too, in my opinion, it's going back to the argument you and I have. Movie theaters is losing their appeal. It's so much more easier now, and I'm hearing more people saying it, even though the theater experience may be the better experience of the two. I'm not going to deny that. But I'm hearing a lot more people saying, I'll just wait till it comes. So that's what's going to hurt a lot of it, because I'm really like I think out of all of us, I'm the only one that hadn't been to IMAX yet. I just told my dad today we went to Men's Warehouse, and right down the corner from where our Men's Warehouse is here is IMAX theater. I said, Badlands is coming out next month. I think I might go see my first Badlands movie. My first IMAX movie, Badlands, and I'm thinking hard about doing that. Was it 4K experience, whatever you call it? I'm thinking hard about Grogu and in the Mandalorian next year to go see that. I mean, but it's only going to be a very select movie. I'm not paying $30-$40 to see these lackluster movies, and I just think, based on what we see, and like I said, we always have to wait to see the product. Sometimes we can read the tea leaves, so to speak, but I'm not excited about Supergirl based on what I saw. I'm not excited about. What's up, Anzo? I'm not excited about Batman. I'm just not. I hope
when
I
you
hope.
say, when you bring up the movie theater and stuff, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing. When you say, well, maybe it's because the movie theater people are just like, I'll wait and see it. Yet we talk about Spider-Man had $1 billion movie. Joker was before 2020, but still, whatever. Spider-Man had $1 billion movie. Deadpool versus Wolverine had $1 billion movie. Avatar was $1 billion movie. There are still movies people are willing to go see it in theater, and Deadpool and Wolverine was in and out just as quick as these other ones were.
I don't doubt what you're saying, but
What I'm
Deadpool
saying
Wolverine,
is if good. Sorry.
To me, Deadpool and Wolverine is an anomaly because the second Deadpool didn't do as well as the first one and this one.
True.
Now, what I will say is that certain movies are going to get that because globally, the top 3 comic book characters is Spider-Man 1. It was Superman. Now I'm thinking it might be Batman, but the top 3 traditionally has been Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, the most recognizable. Spider-Man is going to do it because they get a fairly equal split fan base. There's some people on this panel that love Tobey Maguire. There's some people on here that love young cat. What's his name now? Tom. What's his last name? Holland. Then there's some people that like Andrew Garfield. So the fan base is kind of equally split on that, but it's not equally split on the Superman, in my opinion.
No, but
with some of the Batmans, I think you and Alonzo prefer Michael Keaton. I'm leaning more towards Ben Affleck. On Superman, I think y'all leaning more towards Christopher Reeve. I'm leaning more towards Cavill. So there is a equal split, but I just think that the movie experience now, I'm hearing too many content creators and people I go to work with, I interact with every day saying, I'm just gonna wait till it comes to such and such. Just like this Tron. Tron is getting beat up now. It's getting molested, it's getting raped, it's getting whatever, 6 ways of Sunday. And I was planning on going to see it. Now I done heard several people saying it, and I'm not going to see it. I'm just gonna wait.
Tron is trash.
Your mic is.
I disagree. Yeah, you're on a different mic than normal. I disagree on that, but whatever. It's not going to do well in the theater. I mean, I don't think the last one did that well in the theater. I think that what I'm trying to say is that Superman should have carried the same clout as the Deadpool Wolverine movie. And the thing is when people started to go see it, and I said it, and when people go see this, they're going to start talking enough about it to where people will be like, okay, well, if you didn't think it was all that great, or if you think there was problems or this or that, I'll just wait. That's what happens now as people talk about things.
You think that the Superman movie should have the same clout as Deadpool and Wolverine?
If it's a Superman movie, Superman should have the same clout, and if it's done right, should have easily.
But you're always gonna forget the bad taste that Superman had put in people's mouth. You take away those movies, 100%. But those Snyder movies put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Not just the Snyder movies, but DC in general, right? So when you have that, people are gonna be skeptical about going to see another Superman movie.
You're telling me that because somebody else took over and said, I'm gonna not do that. I'm going to make it the way that Superman is supposed to be made. Said it for 2 years almost. That doesn't change that all the people that thought that James Gunn was going to come in and fix it.
No, it doesn't, because there's us that think that. But when you talk about the normies, the ones that just go to the movies, they're like, I'll wait and see what people are going to think. Not to mention the fact that the movie prices are expensive. And 2, these movies come out 45 days after they've been in theaters. That's the biggest problem, is that these movies don't stay in theaters long enough anymore.
Then how does Deadpool and Wolverine pull $1 billion?
Because Deadpool and Wolverine first off, it was a good movie, which people liked, but it also had Deadpool and Wolverine together for the first time in this movie. If it's a regular Deadpool movie, it doesn't make $1 billion. Just like the Spider-Man movie, if it doesn't have the two Andrews in it, it doesn't make as much money. It still probably make $1 billion because Spider-Man made $1 billion, but it doesn't go nowhere near $2 billion.
I'm just saying, if it was that movie, I think enough people would have talked about it that would have made people come out and go, let's go see it.
But
I think that's what
yes,
Avatar did. That's
but
what
you also
Deadpool
got to
and Wolverine
remember
did.
it came out sandwiched between two other movies that was a problem
I still argue the fact that I think if they put it out, if it was worth its weight, they should have put it out 4th of July. Superman is an American institution.
I got you, but
put it out. I may be wrong. I still say that that's when it should have come out.
Let me ask you a question. Which movie is better, Man of Steel or Superman?
Me?
Yeah, to you.
I will agree with Man of Steel because I think overall it accentuates the Superman character.
But what goes against your argument is that Man of Steel was a superior movie. I think more people liked it as far as the way Superman looked. I know some people complain about the dark factor of it, but it only made 50 million more than the one that people are like, I don't know.
That money is worth more
I
now.
get that part of it, but that ain't going to
be talking about inflation.
But listen,
it's a fake
you
argument.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You cannot take a movie from then and move it up here and compare money to money if you don't compare it with inflation. The money then is worth more than the money now. The money now
and movies were cheaper then too.
Still, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so then yes, that does matter. If you're going to use inflation, movies were cheaper then. Right? We didn't have the pandemic. So after 2020, everything skyrocketed. People don't have enough money. Hold on. Let me say this. People don't have enough money to go see 3 movies in a month or in the span of 3 months anymore. Especially if you have a family with kids. Costs like $100 if you're taking your kids to the movies.
Hold on. I want to look something up here.
I know some people use the argument, but I wouldn't. And I mean, I know it may be a tangent, but I would not use it without metrics. But yeah, I can tell you now. I know now. I really select, and I only take 2 of my grandsons. I really pick and choose the movies that I want to spend
100%
on versus that money. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna go in there and I may like it, but I've been in a couple movies. And I look at my grandsons and they sleeping or playing and dilly dallying, and I feel like, man, y'all don't waste my money. So unless it's something they're really into, no, I really think twice, 3 times, sometimes 4 times. Am I gonna spend this money and they're gonna blow it off? So it's definitely a different landscape in my house. I can't speak for nobody else.
See, so the reason why you use inflation is because it provides a more accurate way to measure a film's audience size by converting the past box office with today's.
But it's irrelevant because you don't know if that same audience would have went and seen it today. You don't know that. You don't know if the same amount of people. Yes, it is. Because you don't know if the same amount of people would have went to go and seen it. You're not doing it
based off of who would go see it. You're basing it off of who went to go see it. And basically what you're saying is the same amount of people that went.
Right. But you figured out. That's correct. 100% you're saying, but it's illogical to say that because even if you don't know if those same amount of people would have went today. There's so much things that happen.
Ticket changes, ticket price changes.
Let me say this because you don't know what happened, the superhero genre is totally different then than it is now. So half of those people that went to go see the movie then does not mean they would have went to go see it now. So I get what you're saying, that you're like, oh yeah, you can adjust it for this because this amount of people saying it, but in reality you don't know if that's the case.
Put it this way, the reason why you do that, and here's, and I've said this before, the reason why that may not work in your opinion is because nobody has been able yet to accurately tell us what does streaming bring to it. Until they can give us a number of however many cents or dollars each view gives to the property, maybe that's why it doesn't work. But it does work as far as who went to go see it. We know, and we know how much they made. So then we adjust it to see how much that ticket price would have brought in. And saying you don't know if they would have gone and seen it or not, I don't think comes into play. We just are saying, based off of who did go see it, this is what it was. And so what we're trying to say is that if it's because not as many people went to go see it, then perhaps that's because they didn't want to go see it because they heard things about
or
it.
Perhaps because the tickets are expensive and they had the choice
to go see. Inflation
hold on. Or they had the choice to go see Fantastic Four or Jurassic Park, right? There's so many variables into that reason why you can't just say, oh, well, because of inflation, this movie would have done more. There's way too much variables for that. Right? You have to understand that even though people want to use inflation, blah, 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 you have to kind of have the same type of variables to use that shit, right? Superman didn't come out stuck between two other movies like that. It didn't. But this one did. Right? So there's variables to that. Maybe if this had come out in December where there were no other movies that came out, you don't know how much more people would have went and go seen it. I'm not saying you throw it up, but I'm saying there's variables to it. As you said, all stats don't tell the whole story.
No, I'm just saying I still think a lot of that comes down to, and I will agree that the fact that it comes out very quickly afterwards, which I don't know if it was 45 days. I think it was 2 months, whatever.
I think it depends on
Superman. This Superman didn't even stay in. Sorry, Danny. This Superman didn't even stay in theaters for 45 days. It came out way before that because it came out before Peacemaker, which was before the 45-day mark. I believe it was only like 38 days or something like that, man. A little bit less. I can't remember.
How many days?
It was 45 days.
Superman.
It was 45 days.
Stay in theater.
It was released digitally August 15th, which time between releases, it says about 45 days. But here's the thing. You also had to rent that at about as much as one ticket, which I understand it's one ticket. But wait, because I'm telling you what they're gonna switch and do. Because again, let's talk about the
no, I'm looking at it now. Gonzo was right. It's 35 days.
Yeah, I know.
I just said it was approximately 45 days between the theatrical release.
No, it was 30. But it came out on digital, but it was still a little bit in theaters for some little.
It says the Superman movie stayed in theaters for 35 days before becoming available on digital platforms. It was released on July the 11th and digitally released on August 15th.
And that was because they were trying to get it out before the Peacemaker season 2 started because it had little things in it. So whatever.
But here's the thing though. You see, inflation does matter. But the fact here is that what streaming is going to do, and what people don't understand is they're playing right into it. The theaters want the movie in there as long as possible because the longer it's in, the more money the theater makes in the long run. Because the first 45 days or so, 98%, I think it is, of the movie's gross profits that the tickets bring in goes to the studio. Streaming now, that's why they do that there. And what they hope is that you'll get more people to buy the streaming service for a month or two, and then that's just money, and so again, until they actually release how that affects the gross profit, which eventually I think they'll have to do, to show us exactly how much a movie makes, because they have to take that into account. The problem is going to come down to it is the more they push for it to go straight to streaming quicker, is eventually what they're going to do is they're going to start saying, well, wait a minute. For instance, Netflix and all the other groups have already started doing this. You can't have one login and then send it to your friends and say, hey, go ahead, log in and watch this movie. No, you have, now they geo-track it, and you can't do that. Eventually what they're going to do is say, listen, when you do the service, they're going to say, how many people do you have in your house? When a new movie comes out and they want to show it early, they're going to say, well, you have to pay an extra this much extra to watch the movie, and they're going to start charging it like it's a movie at the movie theater. They're going to do that. Because that's money for them, and that's what they want. So if they take it out of the theaters, or if they pull it out of the theaters quickly, they're going to try to find a way to make that money back somewhere. Because before, that's where they got their money. And eventually it's going to hurt them to not have, unless, again, like I said, unless they show or figure out where streaming brings in the dollars. If they're only counting what the theater totals are, and God forbid, I don't know if anybody buys physical copies of movies anymore enough to even count it into this. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Until they figure that out, they still have to answer for the fact that technically Superman didn't make money.
It says here that theaters typically receive about 50% of gross profit from a movie's ticket sales, but it's very significantly based on the contract. For a new release, a theater might get as little as 10 to 30% in the first week, with the percentage increasing as so the longer it stays in, the more the theater makes.
Yes,
and that's the thing.
Yes, in the beginning, the first couple of weeks, they make about 20%.
Well, actually, from what I've read recently, it's like 98%.
Movie theaters receive approximately 40 to 50% of ticket sales, but this percentage fluctuates starting low around 20% for the film's opening weekend and increasing over time, like Danny said. The studios or distributors take a larger share in initial weeks. Right. So that's why
the longer it stays in.
But that's why you get these 45 days, because the theater doesn't want to pay them any more money.
And eventually the streaming service is going to want to pull that money from it.
Yeah,
the streaming service is going to want that money for the studio, because the studios control a lot of these streaming services.
So yeah, but it doesn't go to streaming first. It goes to video on demand first, right?
That's fine.
And video on demand is 100% studio. That's why. So it goes from theater, video on demand, then streaming.
What I'm saying is eventually what they're going to do is video on demand. If you want to watch it first on video on demand, they're going to start charging based off of occupancy of your house or generic occupancy.
They're going to cut theaters out here soon because
that's what they're doing. But don't think it's going to help you any.
I'm not saying that, Chris. I'm saying they're going to cut it out.
I'm not saying that you said that. I said don't think that that's what it's going to do.
The only problem is they'll never be able to determine the occupancy of a house, though.
They will find a way to say, listen, average in the United States is 2.5 people.
They'll probably just charge like $50. So here's what they'll probably do.
Yeah.
And I think this would be the best option for them to do. They would charge $50 for whatever. You get it for 24 hours for $50. You don't get to keep it. You get it for 24 hours. If you don't watch it in 24 hours, too bad for you. Get rid of it. That way, if someone wants to watch it again, you got to pay more. You got to pay. I think they'd probably like second viewing $30. You know what I mean?
I would do initial. Yeah, I would do initial 50. Then, like you said, 30, and then you're gonna watch the third time 10. Then you watch more than that, okay, you go
or sticks at 10 or whatever. You know what I mean?
or send you some kind of code that only for you.
I don't think they would do that, but maybe they will. I don't know. I just still think here's the thing: you say they won't figure out how many people are in the house. I'm telling you, I've seen it before with bars. The UFC has some shady ways of figuring out how to cut people out from watching it at bars and stuff, because a bar has to pay off of occupancy. They could flat out say, listen, we're not going to give you a chance unless you tell us how many people it is and figure out if you're lying or not. Because again, they figured out a way to keep us from giving our passwords out to other people. So to say that they won't figure that out,
though.
no, but to say that they won't figure that out is
But giving your password to someone else is different because you're using IP addresses for that, right? But I've never had a problem going to a bar and not getting to watch the UFC or whatever they're paying.
No, I'm not saying you do. With that. They pay for that though. They pay based off of occupancy. And now, yes, some people do get away with it, but I've watched them get caught just as much as they'll get away with it once, and then something gets said or something gets done.
I'm not saying that ain't true, but there's several things out there. I got Apollo TV, and the whole world knows about Apollo TV. And I can watch whatever I want, and I don't pay nothing. I can watch what I just gotta sit down and patiently scroll through it, see what state it's in. And I don't watch WWF, I don't watch UFC. So the same way they got people that can figure out how to stop it, they got this is equal many people to figure out how to get around it. So
yeah,
I don't understand how they would be able to do it. They may be able to do some, but they ain't gonna be able to get it all. But
I'm just saying there's going to be a way that they come up with to make that profitable for them.
What basically is going to happen is that, big event movies are going to be like theater movies, like opera or some shit like that. You'll have like one theater open and you'll get an Avengers, this a major event movie. You got to go see it on the big screen. And then you'll get to go watch certain movies on the big screen. But other than that,
hope you don't. I hope that doesn't happen.
I think these mom and pop theaters are going to be where the dodo here shortly. They're going to be the big IMAX.
No. Because the mom and pop ones, they won't look for the big movies. They'll go back and they'll get the ones that are cheaper that they can buy the rights to show it to 200 people, and they'll hold on to it for 4 weeks, and they'll make their money off of it. That's what most of them do, anyways, nowadays. Now, showing new movies, that'll be out of their league. They won't be able to do that anymore. But they'll still be okay because they'll just go back to doing what a lot of these places do now that are the old school theaters. Wow. They'll go to showing art house films and or films that were popular 10 years ago.
Well, I don't know where you guys live, but I know here there ain't no theaters doing that.
And ain't none where I'm at either. And I know I'm not paying no money to go see something 10 years ago that I can watch at my house. I'm just saying I'm not.
Yeah, no, I know. There's certain ways that they do it and things they do. They do the just things that they do. It's like Rocky Horror Picture Show. I can watch that at home, but it's better to go see that with a bunch of people in a theater. It is. It's just there are certain things like that. That's what people want to go do. I just think that when it comes down to it, I'm not going to pay $50 to watch it on streaming at home because I think that's way too much. I'd much rather go spend $50 for two people to go see it in the theater because at least then I get to see it in the full grandeur of what it is. And again, 90-inch TVs exist. I can pull out a projector and put it on a wall that makes it 130 some odd inches. I can get a bigger projector and make it bigger than that. Ultimately, though, I'm still not someplace where I have the screen that size for it. IMAX is a thing that's worth it. I don't think you're ever going to get rid of it. Now, what Anzo said, I do agree. I think it'll be certain things like that, and I think your Downton Abbeys and things like that will probably still go out to theater for a few weeks and just make a little bit of money and whatever. I don't know. It's just I just don't think you're ever going to get fully rid of movie theaters, and eventually I think if they turn streaming into the way that people try to do it, I think people are going to get tired of it because they're going to be, wait, I'm spending $40. But listen, when I first got HBO Max, it was $9.99. It was in 2020. They were just begging to give it away. It is now like $25-$30 a month now.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's all it's going to do because they control it, and they're going to want more, and they're going to want more, and they're going to want more. So then what happens when I'm spending $50 just to have the service, to them pay $50 more to do it? And that's if, God forbid, if I do it and then something happens, I can't, like you say, if it's 24 hours, I am now on the clock. as soon as I commit to $50, I'm on the clock. So one, I better make sure. And there are people out in the world like Danny, and Danny, you know what I'm talking about here. You get called out, you're going to get called out. Now, yeah, your family might get to watch that, but you might not make it back in time to watch it. And I don't know if they're going to give you 24 hours. I'm going to think they're going to say, listen, it's a 2.5 hour movie. We'll give you 10 hours to watch it.
I see what you're saying, but as from age 20 to 55 now, I've often said many times, man, I ain't doing that. But then guess what? I end up doing stuff.
I understand that.
We say now, but just like I was like, I ain't gonna pay no $30-$40 for no steak, whatever. Shoot, I done paid $30-$40 for a steak. If it's something you really want and it's something you really want to see, you're gonna find a way to do it. Whether you're gonna do it on a consistent basis or not, no, I'm not going to the movie theater like I did 10, 15 years ago. I'm just not gonna do it. But if some kind of big Star Wars or some kind, and let's say, for instance, the price is $50 to see it at home. I got friends that want to watch Star Wars, and it'll be just like the Super Bowl. Hey, let's go to your house, let's chip in, let's do this. There are ways around that. So I'm pretty sure
Problem is
my friends will. My family.
I understand that. Yeah, I think that there are those ways. I just don't think. I don't think it's going to be that easy.
Okay. Well, I've been to hundreds of Super Bowl parties and hundreds of WWE parties, and I pay.
Super Bowl doesn't cost anything. You go because you want to be around people. The money is in the food.
I done been to boxing matches, UFC, pay-per-view, several of them, and I pay my fee, get in, and keep it moving. So, like I said, I don't know, but if it's something I really want to see, really, really, really want to see, unless it's $200 or $300, I'll pay the $50 to go see it.
I mean, we'll wrap it back around the Superman and is the DCU doomed to fail. I don't know about doomed, but I think it's on its track to fail.
Oh man! After that Peacemaker episode, oh my god,
they quacking
that should suck.
Oh, you watched it, Ostinator?
I did. I thought it was very disappointing.
You call that an ending for a season? It was like a music video. It was so trash, Danny. It was garbage. They did absolutely nothing.
I feel good because I try to tell you when you tell me to watch it, so I feel great. How many episodes was it, Anzo?
8.
And how long was that each episode?
An hour.
Oh yeah, you wasted 8 hours of your life. Okay, congratulations.
Well, no, 2 episodes were good. 2 episodes were good.
6 hours, no.
But other than that, oh my god, that was a horrible ending, man. So is DC slated to fail, man? If it does, so here's my problem, right? And I'll say something first off. So I just read today that the Batman 2 is going to have Deathstroke in it, which no, because it makes more sense than Clayface, to be honest with you, because of course of that real life crappy element to that stupid ass Batman movie. So hopefully that fails, right? James Gunn is already talking about Man of Tomorrow. Well, where's Batman? Where's Wonder Woman? Where's Flash? Where are all these other characters? Like, he's so focused on Superman and Supergirl. Like, I think he wants to do the super family, but at the same time, bro, build up the rest of the universe. You gave us damn Creatures Commando. Nobody cares about that.
Well, I don't care. As long as you don't, if you want to go and mess up the Superman family, that's fine. Don't mess up the Batman family.
Now, Anzo, of course, they're not doing Batman yet because, of course, they got to make room for Sergeant Rock.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and what makes this even better is apparently James Gunn wants to do a Bane and Deathstroke movie.
He wants to do a Bane and Deathstroke movie?
Yeah.
I don't. Now, if he's gonna play, if Robert Pattinson gonna face Deathstroke, I don't have no problem with that.
I know you don't, Danny, but you didn't have a problem with that crappy ass first movie, anyways. So of course you're not gonna have a problem with it. Shit,
Yeah,
they
but
said if it was Clayface,
Deathstroke,
you wouldn't have a problem with it.
no, the Clayface ain't never been one of my main villains for Batman. And to tell you the truth, the Penguin wasn't either. I was like, he's one of the weaker ones, as far as physically imposing or something. But I'm telling you, man, and I know you have. I'm not saying that to try to throw any kind of shade, but I was pleasantly surprised with the Penguin. And I'm not. I'm trying to figure out if that show has so much momentum, why not use it? This Clayface. I don't understand that. I would have done something different. I would have done maybe like Killer Croc, or I would have done, like you said, Deathstroke, or I would have done even Catwoman or something. Clayface, he's like one of the most. He's a CD level villain to me. And I know on an animated film he had a lot of powers and he all this kind of stuff. But if he's tapping into the realistic world, I don't see how he can do that. He should be, if they're gonna do it, it should be something more like the Chameleon where he can physically do it, not where he can transform, because that's not realistic. Based on, and they're more real grounded Batman versus the more comic book superhero special effects stuff. So I don't see how they're gonna pull that off. So, but we shall see.
It'll definitely be interesting. Definitely not interested in that movie at all.
It's not hard to pull off a ninja. It's very
No,
hard.
I know.
I'm just saying it's very hard to pull off somebody that can morph into anybody. So
Yeah, but the problem is they wouldn't even have used that as like he would have just been a regular human being in it. And I'm like, nah, bro, I ain't doing that. So Deathstroke is a better villain for that type of
Yeah.
movie. If you're trying to ground it in that kind of reality, Deathstroke is a better villain for that. But I'll say this: skip.
Why did you say Enzo this one?
Skip. I'll pass. Thank you very much.
You know,
Unless
Clayface in the Pattinson movie probably would have been something almost like the Chameleon, where he wouldn't have had like powers, but he would have just like removed his face or something.
Yeah,
it'd have been something trash.
No.
Yeah, it would have been trash, Danny. Come on, man.
No.
Come on, Danny. You know it.
Yeah. I got a headache already. I didn't have a headache before.
Oh, so you're trying to say I came in here and gave it a headache?
Mm-hmm. Changed the whole vibe.
Well, then you know I came in here to do my job properly, 100%. Yep,
Listen,
absolutely.
If the Robert Pattinson Batman was gonna have someone like Mr. Freeze, they would have made him like Condiment King, where he wasn't, where he's not like an actual like guy that like got.
Nah, you got Austin.
No, he would have just had like some freeze backpack on his back, and he would have been a normal person, and he just freezing people, like a vacuum on his back, freezing people. Like, what do we want to see this for? No, we want to see Mr. Freeze all cold in his freezing suit, doing superhero stuff or supervillain stuff.
And how was Batman and Robin? You saw that, Matt. So
it was better than the Batman.
No, it wasn't. you are, whatever you smoking, you gotta stop it, because there's no way that was better.
To be fair, that movie was very entertaining.
Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
George Clooney, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, it was
better than the Batman.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Oh, man. And Robin box office.
Oh.
I'm not excited for anything really that the DCEU has coming out, and that's a problem.
Okay, that movie made a whole $238 million. Wow.
But you have to adjust for inflation, Danny.
No, I don't. That's Chris' argument. That ain't my argument.
You know what? If you adjust for inflation, it made quite a bit of money.
Yeah, 100%.
The Batman box office mojo.
You know what? Shout out to Tony in the chat. He's been very active all night. I'm sorry I haven't gotten
Tony?
To a whole lot of your comments here.
Read Tony's comments.
Yeah.
$772 million. Woo! Lord.
Danny, did you like Transformers?
The first one?
Did you like the second one?
I can't remember the second one. What was the second one? Are you talking about
Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon?
I like the
Night.
first and second one. I ain't Dark of the Moon, not so much.
Well, they all made $1 billion, so I'm just saying.
So,
huh? Money doesn't mean the movie's good. That's my point.
Yes, it does. Money means that more people went to see it than others. That's what that means.
I mean,
so then by your logic, the Transformer movies are good.
No, I said more people. More people went to see Transformers. More people went to see the Batman versus going to see Batman and Robin, which y'all proclaiming is like Oscar worthy.
Yeah, more people went and seen it, but more people like Batman and Robin more than.
Okay.
Based off James Gunn's success with Guardians of the Galaxy, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. The Suicide Squad was a bomb. But going a weird way, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, then Superman, and then Supergirl, Lanterns, Clayface. Yeah, that's a pretty fucked up.
It's all over the board.
Yeah,
it's like that. That's the problem. It's like, folks. I'm just okay. Maybe, and again, this is an opinion, but I think when you're talking, and again, Marvel did it differently than I think it should have been done originally. Also, because I wouldn't have started with Iron Man. But even then, singular character. You had some cameos in it. Those cameos were exactly that, cameos. And then you got to the Avengers. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, maybe a Flash movie, cameos involved with other Justice Gang, Justice League people, whatever. Here and there, nods to the people existing within the universe. And then getting to a Justice League movie or whatever, and that's fine. Just none of this makes sense for continuity. It's confusing, it's jumbled, and yes, each movie should be their own thing within itself, and that's kind of where Marvel has lost their way. They were within themselves, but at the same time, they built to a larger crescendo. You can't have too much going on that just muddles up everything and takes away from the main characters. So the way he's starting this just makes no sense.
You know what? Let me put this in a different perspective. Let's say the MCU started off with a movie like Iron Man 2 where they throw everything into it because, oh, guys, we're starting a universe. And then after that, they don't, instead of doing like a Captain America or a Thor movie, they do a War Machine movie. And then after the War Machine movie, they just do a Big Wheel movie. And then after Big Wheel, they do another Iron Man movie, but this time he's teaming up with the Mandarin. And we're going to throw everything in all the other projects into that movie. And then more and more, it just gets a little bit more ridiculous. Tony Randall, you need your pillars. Wonder Woman, Batman, at least. Yeah, well, James Gunn's like, nah, we're just gonna wait until it's too late. Probably.
And the more I watch James Gunn stuff, the more I'm not liking his style.
His style works with certain things. I just don't think it would fit a character like Superman. If that makes sense.
I think that the look of the movie was fine. He had a lot of good things.
Like a genius, and I ain't he?
But I'm talking about no, Danny. He does not. No, he does not. But I'm talking about James Gunn's style with his cheap laughs that, like the banter that he likes to have back and forth, is trash. The musical montages to fighting scenes need to stop because he's done it in every single movie. Yeah. It's annoying now.
He did that with Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. He did it in every Guardians of the Galaxy. He did it in Peacemaker. Sorry, I'm just tired of it now. So his style is starting to annoy me, like really and truly annoy me. He's starting to get on the Taika Waititi level.
I was just about to
I
say
don't
the
like
same
it.
name, buddy.
Yeah, he's starting to get on that level. I don't like it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I like the look of it. I think he did. I think he hit a home run with his casting. It's just he went too far. It's like he was on the right track for a lot of things, and then he's like, let's just keep adding shit to it, and eventually it gets muddled.
I don't have a problem with the casting, like you said, and it looked.
Yeah.
The main thing I had about the look that I did not like his selection of Superman's uniform. I mean, his suit. I just did not like the way it looked.
I can see that.
It should have looked more like Christopher Reeves if he's gonna do that, and it didn't. It looked too. It didn't. He did. He should, to me, he should look more muscled up to me. He didn't look muscle. I ain't saying he got to be bulky like Cavill or, but he should have looked more. There are some. He could have even got like a Brandon Roof size. He seemed lean, but he didn't seem muscular to me. But that's my only.
I didn't even like the briefs, Danny. I didn't like the briefs.
And I got a whole thing like if you're gonna play these comic book heroes, you need to look the part. It ain't like you get a job like each one of us. Your job is you get the character, you get the job. You need to go to the gym, go to the bookstore, go do your research, go do whatever you need to do. But you should look just like that person, sound as much as possible that person, pick up as many characteristics of that person. And this ain't the first time I've seen this. He should look like Superman. Superman should look like a Greek god. And this one he didn't, in my opinion.
You get an Aquaman, Captain Marvel, make $1 billion. Minecraft and Zootopia will this year. Avatar, but I think 500, 600 million is the likely goal for box office. I agree with that, but the problem is these studios keep over inflating these budgets to the point where.
And what are you going to do when he go up against Jason Momoa? Because Jason Momoa going to bring it as Lobo. So what are you going to do? You're going to the same way Mr. Terrific overshadowed him. Now I guess the villain going to overshadow him. Huh?
I don't know yet, but yeah, I don't know. That's just the question.
So isn't Lobo going to be in the next one, like the villain against Supergirl? Him and Brainiac or some? That's what I'm hearing. So if he's in there, you know that Jason Momoa is going to bring everything he got to make Lobo. And unless James Gunn write him a little bit more aggressively or a little bit more backbone or whatever word you want to plug in there, there's going to be another like somebody overshadowed Superman, and that shouldn't be the case.
The villain in 2026 movie Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is Krem of the Yellow Hills, played by Matthias Schoenarts or whatever. Krem is the main antagonist in the comic book series that serves as the film's source material.
I agree. James Gunn doesn't need to be writing and directing everything. He needs to give up the realms to some of these people because
he's not doing Supergirl. He's not in charge of Supergirl, either writing or directing. He's not in charge of Clayface. Although what's funny is Matt Reeves has I think he's a producer for Clayface. So that kind of makes me wonder, is that it shows up as the DCU? I don't know if
Clayface is supposed to be elsewhere.
Is it? Okay, so then maybe it's going to be in with maybe eventually they're pulling it in. Matt
with
Reeves
the Batman. Yeah.
Maybe that's fine. But that's confusing when we see it on the thing. Okay, I'm more for it now if it's separated from this. But that's the thing. It's like where are we coming out with this?
Yeah, stupid.
All over the place.
It's stupid.
You got to be very specific with saying this stuff. But so I'm looking at this stuff. Crown of the Yellow Hills. I get it. It's comic book. But what the heck, people?
Listen, I get that the Batman did good, but it should have been a one-off. If you're gonna get Batman and put him into your universe, then you get rid of that other Batman. And it's gonna be confusing having two Batmans running around in the same universe.
It's just not and that's the problem too. And I feel like again, I feel like that's more of a WB fuck up because they did not plan for this. And I feel like James Gunn, kind of like with Peacemaker, like I said before, had a chance to kind of turn a kind of a situation that in hindsight shouldn't work, but could make it work. But instead, we're overcomplicating it for the sake of overcomplicating it. And now it's gone past to, I like the phrase keep it simple, stupid. And James Gunn cannot keep it simple.
Did any of us seen the remake of Fright Night?
Yeah.
And thought it was good?
It's all right.
Well, that's the biggest movie that this director has made. That's directed Craig Gillespie.
I don't.
Fright Night?
Oh no.
I look at it and I'm like,
IMDb now.
I know I seen it. Remind me about the remake of Fright Night.
It's one with Colin Farrell.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, it wasn't bad.
Just
it wasn't bad.
You got you're appealing to people who want to take this comic book trip and say, oh, this is accurate to the comic book, except for, let's say it again, the origin story of Superman, or the change in it now. There's just certain things, it's like, I don't know, none of it makes. I look at this and I don't get it. I just don't see any continuity that plays well from one movie to the next to make a connected universe that he claims that we're still getting.
No, yeah, we're getting it because he's connecting it, right? He's doing it with Peacemaker already. I think Blue Beetle is still in this universe, so he's going to connect that somehow.
But again, if you're going to do that, take the reins over with the Flash. Again, they hinted at the reset in that. They should have done it with that. They should.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
And that's where that's what I'm saying. That's one of my big problems with this is that I'm not saying you can't bring people from one universe over to the next. I'm not saying you can't do that. Or, for instance, like Tony Stark becoming, or grinding down
Doom. Becoming Doom.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's good. That's fine. We can have these different people because one comes from here, one comes from there, whatever.
I don't like it yet.
Actors. Well, what I'm saying is you can have actors play different characters because of the universal side of it. But I wanted, if you're going to do that, I think I would have accepted it more had he just said, okay, starting with the Flash, we're going to start changing things over, and we're going to see aspects of this in every movie. Like Blue Beetle would have something where things had changed that people noticed. Like, I mean, I don't know the full way of doing it. It would have made more sense. And
I think the problem with it was the Flash was already done. So to go back and to do all these reshoots and everything would have probably cost them too much money, I guess. I don't know. Could be.
Well,
it may be.
And it's also on top of that, the Flash was like in development hell for years. And like that was like reshot to hell so many times that I don't know if they had. I don't think they had the means for the time to be able to do that stuff. And the release order of those last four DC movies were ass backwards. Like the Flash should have came out in December as like, that's it. That's the last DC movie. It should have wrapped up with like the Flash going back in time to fix everything. And then it should have cut to black saying, hey, the DC universe will come back in so, or doing something under the lines to say, hey, this universe is no more. We're rebooting. We're coming back. We're going to come back to this concept. But the way they did it, it didn't work because
they could have did it like they did in Age of Apocalypse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely,
perfectly.
But instead, like always, at the end of it, it had to be a joke. Like, of course, George Clooney had to come back, and then Barry's teeth fall out of his head, and Aquaman's drinking in a bar, and the Aquaman movie ends with him going, "I'm Aquaman, woo!" Like what the fuck? Like, come on.
Yeah, it was trash.
I just don't see this iteration of the DC universe working out. I just don't, and I think it's going to die out quicker than it can take off. And I think it's because he's trying to be too artsy with it. He's not, and as much as we've talked about wanting to appeal to comic book people, we've always said the reason why you don't is because they won't bring money. Wait, what did he say about Brave and the Bold?
Brave and the Bold has had that Andy guy hired since 2023, but does that mean 2028?
2029, I bet. I don't, and maybe 2030. I don't know. And the problem again is Brave and the Bold was hard enough to pull off as an animated movie, let alone live action. And we have no talk about who's going to be Batman. No talk.
Yeah.
To me, I don't get the feeling like there's any thought going behind this before they do it. It's like they're like, okay, this is the next movie, let's do it. And then by the time they get into it, it's kind of like the freaking Alien Earth series or Peacemaker. It's like they don't think about, we have to start in a spot, we have to get our characters from point A through to point B in a way that makes it sound right. It's not like I leave my house and then poof, I'm at work as soon as I leave my driveway. No, I have to take certain streets to get there, and I know that. So if I were to do a very boring 15-minute movie or something about my travel from home to work, I know that if I'm going to do it, that I have to show certain things happening. So this is what they need to be thinking about when they make a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we start? We know we have to get there. How do we get there? Let's show that and be done with it. But they don't. They start off like a dog chasing a car, and then by the time they get 5 blocks down, they've lost their way. They're like, wait a minute, how did I get here? Okay, we got to answer this. We got to figure out how we get to the ending. And then it becomes this mess of a thing that you're like, let's throw, Toto in there or something. I don't know. It's just like, it makes no sense.
So from what I'm to understand is originally Matt Reeves was going to do a trilogy, but I think they said they're just going to do another movie and they're done or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And it's like, well, again, they fucked it up somewhere, some way. The way, I mean, there could be a way to bring Pattinson in, but I don't think he would fit in whatever this DCU is going to be. I don't know how you can bring in another Batman so shortly after Pattinson without it feeling confusing to the normal casual audience, I guess, because let's say they release the Batman Part 2 in 27 and then they're going to release Brave and the Bold in 29. That's way too short a time for them to justify, okay, we're going to bring in another Batman. And then everybody's going to go, wait a minute, isn't that guy Batman? It's just it's already way too complicated. Like, for God's sake, guys. wonder where I heard this before. Like, there's so many variables. What age do they want to make Batman? He said he wants to have, like, Nightwing and Robin. And again, that's the problem. It's like, why are we adding all these fucking characters? Oh, man.
Can't add Nightwing until you introduce Robin as Robin and explain the story of why he becomes Nightwing. I mean, you know, these are things that some of that was kind of explored with the Snyderverse stuff. They looked like they wanted to go into some of that. Like, for instance, the Robin costume with the ha 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 all over it and stuff. That was intriguing, and then it goes nowhere, you know. And then when they did the first Suicide Squad, and they had things in there that were cut out, and you know, again, it's all about. I guess it's that keep it simple, stupid comment. It's like, let's just stick with the basic characters. Let's get it right, or try to get it as right as possible, and go forward. But you know, you get stylistic choices in this, and I mean, again, I don't know how they got it right with Batman '89. They did, though. I don't know how they got it right with Superman the movie, but they did. And it was basically because they focused on the character they were supposed to focus on, which was Batman and Superman. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe they need to just say, you know what, we're done with the universe stuff. And just say, let's just make Superman movies, Batman movies, and we'll just stick with that. We'll leave the expanded universe stuff to the animation people, because obviously they can do it.
Yeah, just I because right now it's like, because this is like what DC's technically, this is like their third or fourth attempt at doing a universe, because like, if you're not counting the DCEU, because Green Lantern was going to be like the original start, then that didn't work out, and then before that they wanted to do a Justice League movie, and then they want Batman Begins to be kind of like sort of start to it. Then the Brandon Routh movie, that didn't work. So it's just been, I at a certain point, if this does not succeed, I think WB or whatever just needs to just come out and say, look, this is just, obviously it's never going to happen. So, you know, hey, it was a good run, but we're just going to do our own thing for right now, and we'll figure it out later. Because I don't know how many more times you can try before eventually you just come to the realization of, gee, that doesn't work.
If it doesn't make it this time, then I say go back to what I've said before, which is, let's wait. Let's find our main actors and actresses for things like the characters. Let's figure that all out first. Then let's flesh out 3 stories: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Start with that. Let's not worry about bringing in any Green Lanterns. All that stuff. Let's just figure it out. And it just seems like that's what they might have to do. And I don't know if there's a person that needs to be like the main person. But again, I think take lead from what George Lucas did with the original trilogy, which is, I can't do this on my own, and I shouldn't be the one writing everything. I shouldn't be directing everything. He didn't listen to himself in the prequels. That wasn't a wash. I mean, he did okay with them. And they were good movies. But there's something to be said about, if you're in charge of it, you don't direct and you don't write. Even Kevin Feige didn't do those things. He just had his hand in it and was producing it and trying to keep continuity in play.
Yeah. This is frustrating because sometimes, like when you, I'm going to use this metaphor, like if you buy a new house, usually, especially if you're flipping a house, you don't tear out the good stuff. You preserve it. You maybe take it out, don't demolish it, and then you replace it whenever you replace the stuff that needs to be replaced. The DCU or whatever, James Gunn, to me, he took out some good stuff that he should have took out. and he replaced with something that is not as good as what he had. I still believe, and to coin Osnader's phrase, I still believe he could have made chicken salad out of some of the chicken shit that was there earlier, but he didn't. He failed to do that, and now the window of opportunity is done past. And if he does not succeed in these next two movies, if he does the same thing that Marvel did 3 financial flops back to back. We have never seen that in the whole existence of Marvel. 3 movies in less than 6 months, and all 3 of them flop financially. He's walking down that same road. Because this Supergirl don't hit a certain dollar amount, and then the next one is what? Clayface?
Yeah.
If that don't hit,
if
which
Clayface is Elseworlds
or whatever the next one's going to be, Batman or whatever it's going to be, if all 3 of those movies flop, then I think they are definitely doomed.
Yeah, and I mean, because from what I'm reading, Clayface is part of the DCU. I mean, they had him in Creature Commandos, so I mean, they want to try and but again, it fails. I fail to understand. Like, I don't know if this is just James Gunn just trying to be like, oh, hey guys, look, I read comic books too, so I'm gonna bring in these characters to prove like, hey, I know these characters. But the problem is, and like you brought it up, Chris, you can't market comic book movies to comic book fans, and you can't be exclusively be like, hey, comic fans will like this, because now the casual fans are going to look at this and go, who the fuck are these people?
Or if you're gonna do it, Austin, if you're gonna pick an obscure character, you better make sure that script is fire. You better make sure the first act connects to the second act. The second act is better than the first act, and the third act is better, and is a true finale, is a true closing, or a true cliffhanger. A lot of times they don't do it. They just put something there because just like, and I'm going to use this artist, Kanye West. I do not like him at all, but he thinks everything that comes out of his mouth is a masterpiece and is brilliant and this kind of stuff, and it's not. Some people like it. When he first came out, I like his older stuff. His newer stuff, I think, is totally underwhelming to me. I'll be very nice because he's a billionaire. I'm not, but his stuff, I would not buy it. And like some of the stuff that I'm seeing now, like I've seen Superman twice, and I don't think I'll see it a third time. So it is, and you had pieces in place. I know people are going to say, Danny, this is a bromance, but I think he could have salvaged Henry Cavill and The Rock. I would have redone Black Adam a totally different way, because that was one of the better animated movies we've seen. Black Adam versus Superman versus Shazam. That's something I might want to see. But now, I think that window of opportunity is done gone. So I don't understand.
Yeah, it is one of those things where, I mean, Supergirl, I mean, realistically, if Supergirl doesn't do well, that should already be a red flag. That's like, geez, maybe. And then Clayface, I mean, realistically, I'm not predicting it's going to do well. I mean, if it's got a smaller budget, it might do okay. But
you know what's going to hurt him also? If Batman 2 does well.
Yeah, probably. Because, I mean, if that does well compared to these movies, what does that say about your universe?
That he don't know what he's doing. That's what it's telling me.
Yeah.
If this other guy who's been sick, what's his name? That's making the Batman,
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves. If Matt Reeves Batman's outperform. Okay, the first one already outperformed Superman. Let that sink in. Elseworld movie has outperformed Superman almost by $100 million, if my math is right. 7 something to 670. I think it's like 770 million bucks to around 670 million. So $100 million is already outperformed. The way it's looking now, this Batman 2 is going to be pretty good based on what we're hearing. And I'm just throwing my little Danny isms in there as well. But let's just say, for instance, this makes another 700 something million and Supergirl doesn't make it. If I was the executives, I'd be looking kind of side-eyed at James Gunn. I just would be.
I want to say to Shifty's comment up here, if you can't even get through Superman, you haven't even gotten through that yet. Why do you think Supergirl is going to be dope? Why do you think Lanterns is going to be dope? Why do you think Brave and Bold and Premise? Yeah, in Premise, great, fine. I don't think not only will it get done, I don't think it can be done properly in live action. And it again, concepts and stuff for these movies are too obscure. So, and Paramount, if Paramount buys them out, and if what Fatal J said earlier is right, if his contract is up, look and see when his contract with WB is up. Somebody, if it's up next year and Paramount buys it, it's over. They're just going to scrap the whole thing and do what Discovery did, because this is what Discovery wanted to get done, which is just scrap Snyder stuff and go a different route. And then if Paramount comes in, they're going to want to scrap his stuff and say, no, we're going to go a different way. They may just say next. Okay, so it's a year away. If Paramount buys it, like I said, within 6 months to a year, if they get this before Supergirl comes out, he might get the ability to say, let's see what happens with Supergirl. And if Supergirl doesn't make it, they're just going to say, no, dude, we're not bringing you back. We're done. We're not willing to put in. Again, you guys were talking about budgets earlier. If the budgets are still in the $200 million range, they have to start showing how streaming helps their bottom dollar, because once again, they are still held by the standards of taxes. And if they show loss, they're going to have to claim that as a tax write-off. If they show too much loss, eventually people start looking through the books and say, how do you losing 30 million on everything? And you just keep making these movies like, oh, well, we're just going to keep making these movies and we'll keep putting them out at, we'll keep spending 200, 300 million on the movie and only making 600, 700 million, and it's okay. No, eventually they're going to say, stop making movies. If you can't make them profitable, don't make movies.
If you made $15 million to write and direct Superman. Wow. Mm-hmm. And then I know he's sick now. I just read this fact. James Gunn was officially shared his top 3 DC hero, and Batman was third. Superman was first, Peacemaker was second, and Batman is third. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's so into Peacemaker and all of that.
That is crazy.
Can't do that.
That's no. And we're gonna wrap it up here because we're about 2.5 hours in. So I want to kind of just wrap up my thoughts here. Like I want this to succeed. I do. Because again, maybe it's just maybe I'm just trying to be optimistic because the last regime sucked. Like the DCU was hot garbage. And I want to see James Gunn try to take because let's call this brand for what it is. It's a damaged brand with a lot of baggage that I really want to see James Gunn take this a brand that honestly needs the help. But unfortunately, with a lot of these factors, I just don't see it lasting long. And I think Ninja did a stream a little while ago and he asked this question, do I think that DC is going to be like the big alternative to Marvel again? And honestly, no, I don't. I just can't see it right now because
I got one thing to add to what you said. It don't have to be James Gunn.
No,
I want to see whoever they hire take it to the next height and catch up and surpass Marvel or equal to Marvel. It don't have to be James Gunn. It could be Billy nobody knows. Whoever
who's behind it.
Whoever gets it, I hope he or she knows what they're doing, has a passion for the actual characters, and not too egotistical or not too much of an egomaniac to not listen to people, not go out and do your proper research. If you go out and do your proper research and you pick the good things from different directors, different actors, different whoever powers that be in there, and learn from Marvel mistakes, the DCU can have, because Marvel is giving them opportunity to catch up. We just had 3 flops in a row. So why are they not taking advantage of these penalties that Marvel is doing? They're beating themselves. So,
well,
that's my end.
And what I was going to say is to the point. I have more faith that Marvel will figure it out still and get back to some semblance of a decent product than I do DC. Because I kind of think that what's happened over the past few years with Marvel is a combination of several things. One, I think it's Disney got their hands into it too much, where in the first 10 years, I don't think they had their hands in it almost at all, because Marvel Studios was doing their own thing and had that plan. Two, I think that they also tried to kick Kevin Feige to the side and tried to take more reins. And now they're starting to realize it didn't work out for him. And now you're hearing more really from Kevin Feige than Kevin Feige just being that person. They show up on stage during the Disney, whatever they call it, the Disney Con or yeah, whatever it is. They push him out on stage. Go talk about Marvel. Go talk about Marvel. Now it sounds like he's actually come out and said, well, we got to fix some stuff and we're going to do this. And now we're actually hearing more stuff that he's saying than there for a while. We weren't really hearing from him. And I don't know how much he had to do with it. Maybe he did. Maybe this was his fault. I don't know. But every time we get somebody involved, and here's the thing, I don't even think Snyder was the one to blame for that stuff. I think it was the fact that Warner Brothers literally kept on saying, no, we're going to do it this way. We want this, we want that, we want that, we want this.
100%.
I think the problem right now is James Gunn. So it's like we have too many people who aren't the right people. And like Danny said, I don't care who the next person is. I don't even need to know their name. I just need to know that, one, they're going to understand, give enough comic book tidbits in a movie that the comic book fans are like, oh, yay, that's fun. And yet still enough of a flat product that is on a level that it's fun to watch. And it's good for both the non-comic book people and the comic book people. And when you do that, and you don't try to go in an obscure way because you don't want to follow a proven track record, which is Superman and Batman are your main characters. I don't care who it is that's in charge of it. If Paramount takes over and kicks Gunn to the curb, you don't have to tell me who's in charge. You just got to say, listen, we have a plan in place, which has been said before, I know, but we have a plan in place. We're going to do it, and we're going to start over, give it a couple years to cool off, and then I'd almost treat it like George Lucas did with Star Wars originally. Give us a movie, Superman. Give us 2 years. Go with Batman. Combine the two together, add little elements if you want to make it a shared universe. Then wait another year or two till the next one. Don't push too fast. Don't push too hard. Focus on your main character, make it work, and then move to the next guy. But think ahead on, if we're going to share this universe together, how do we bring Batman to Superman? How do we bring Wonder Woman to Batman? Not just poof, here they are. Look, they're a part of it now, which is kind of what Snyder's did. And now with this, it's even worse. It's not even poof, here they are. It's just boom, here they are. Here's extra people. Where'd they come from? Oh, they're just here. Slow down, think about it, and focus on your characters. But let's go around. DCU, doomed to fail, yes or no?
Yes.
I think it still has a chance.
Okay. I don't know if doomed to fail is the right one, but I do think it's going to fail. So if that's what I have to choose from doomed to fail, I say yes. Austinator?
To wrap things up here, I'm gonna say I want to say no, but I feel like it's on track to fall flat on its face because I think a lot of it is just people talking up a big game, and just I just don't think James Gunn's going to be able to cash checks that he can't cash.
Your body's cashing, or what was it, Danny? Top Gun.
Say again?
Your body's writing checks.
That your mouth can't
you're
cash.
writing checks that your body can't cash. Was that what it was? What was that line in Top Gun?
Your mouth is writing checks that your body can't cash.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Is that what you're saying?
People do that all the time, bro.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying people do that all the time.
Yeah,
right now, I got faith in the DC characters and the strength of their characters. I just don't have the faith in James Gunn because I really thought this Superman was going to be
fantastic,
less underwhelming.
Like I said, I've watched it more just to try to like it better, and I can't. It's like every time, it's like hitting a wall at times during the movie. Things happen, and I'm like, oh god, why?
It got shades of Endgame. When I watch Endgame, I watch the first 30 minutes. I fast forward to an hour and a half and watch the last hour. That's what I do with Superman. Superman. When I watch the Fantastic Four more and enjoy it, and I just do.
Well, Fantastic Four.
I watched Fantastic Four about 4 times already.
Yeah, no, what? Fantastic Four. Yeah, no, Fantastic Four. Its Metascore and everything has stayed solid. Superman's Metascore and their IMDb score and its Rotten Tomato score has dropped since it came out.
Yeah, Fantastic Four's trash.
Well, you say that. That's fine. And that's your opinion. I get it. But, I mean, and again, I'm not sure how he can ever associate right now the box office to whether or not a movie's successful or not. Because by that alone, Superman wasn't successful either, but I don't think it's a trash movie. I just think there's so much more it could have been. I see it and I love the casting. Great stuff there. Great this, great that. But it just misses the point where it needs to make the point.
Not to mention,
they should have casted Ben Affleck as Reed. No. What the hell are you smoking, Shifty?
What?
Not to mention, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 6 other Supermans that it could have gone in and cherry pick and pick. Chris Reed, the first 2, it could have done a little bit of Brandon Routh, could have done a little bit of Batman v Superman, could have done a little bit of Man of Steel, Zack Snyder. So it had models to follow, but he chose not to follow any of that I can see.
What do you mean?
I mean, he has 6. If I'm going to build a Corvette, I'm going to go and look at the previous Corvettes, and maybe I'm going to take the hood of this one, or I'm going to take the wheel of this one. I'll take the interior of this. To me, he didn't do any of that with this Superman. He built a completely new Corvette that didn't look good, didn't run fast.
Well, no, I don't blame him for that because most people do that. They don't take, especially when it's a movie, you always want to create your own thing. You don't want to copy what other people do.
No. I'm not saying copy, but I'm going to take
stupid.
Like if I'm building a house, I'm going to have some unique features, but I'm basically going to go to a blueprint and look at, okay, I want this style right here, but instead of this room being 30 by 30, I want it 40 by 50. Instead of this room going triangular, I want it circular. I'm going to take the base thing and then make my own adjustments. To me, I don't think he did any of that. Is what I'm saying.
Nobody takes a house. Nobody takes a house and makes it like a dollhouse with the back end missing. Because you have to have that fourth wall because that's what keeps the house warm and safe and all that.
But James Gunn's references are from the comics, so he has looked
some of
at
it,
the house.
Not all of it.
But Danny's talking about taking from other creators like Christopher Reeve's Superman and stuff like that. But I mean, if you're gonna really do it, you're gonna take from the source, right? Which is a comic.
Fine.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You say take from the source, but then he takes, going back to Danny's Corvette thing, he literally took the Corvette and he went to the source and said, let's do this. But then he's like, you know what? I don't like the engine in the Corvette, though. I'm going to do a Mustang in here, a Mustang engine here, because he totally changed one of the biggest things about him, and that's the fucking origin.
Oh my God, here you go with that.
Yes, I will stay on that until the end of time.
Okay, well, I'm not going to argue about that because I think it's dumb.
But to me, it's like I said, my final thought is going to be, I think they do, unless James Gunn changes or they get somebody in there that really has a pulse. I don't think he has a pulse on what the fans want and what is going to make this IP successful. That's my final thought.
I don't think we have had anybody that had that yet because even Snyder didn't, right? So we haven't had anybody really that has been able to take the DCU and make it to what it's supposed to be yet. I don't think James Gunn was the right person for this at all. I don't. At first I was like, oh, he might be able to do it, but right now as I think about it or watch his movies or what he's done and Peacemaker and all of that crap, no, he wasn't the right person.
Like you said, he got that Taika Waititi thing. There's some. When you put a list together, there's some names you automatically strike off. Nope, he can't do this. Nope. And then whatever left that you can accept, then that's what you go with. So that's what I do. Nope. Then he can't do this, but Chris can do this. Nope, Alonzo can't do this, but Alonzo can do. Oh, Alonzo can do this. And then whichever one that got the that checks most of my boxes, that's what I'm going with.
Exactly.
At this point, I just think they need to find somebody that's just going to go like, I'm just going to write the basic premise of Superman.
They should go and throw some money at Jon Favreau. I believe he could do it.
Yeah.
Man, but Favreau's at Disney.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying.
I don't think he's going to leave Disney.
What are they paying you, Mr. Favreau? I'm going to give you double. Come and save this here. I think he can do it.
I think other people think he's going to go to try to do Star Wars than he is.
I think so too. But as long as Kathleen Kennedy, I don't think he's going to do it because I don't think they're setting horses.
I don't know.
And I think she's like,
she's got dirt on people.
That's
the only way she's still there. I think. I think she's got dirt.
She knew where the body's buried at. I definitely believe that.
So. I think so. Sorry, we keep talking.
No, it's fine. Well, I was gonna wrap it up here because I mean it's close to 1:00 my time, and no, I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank Tony. Tony's been great.
Thank you, Tony.
Fatal J. It was cool seeing him around. Shifty towards the end. Does anybody have anything they want to plug here, real quick, or?
Tomorrow night. I know you and Danny are busy, but you guys can stop by if you want. Real Review 3000 on Star YT. We do the weekly wrap up where we pick out stories that nobody else has talked about to begin the night. So we're going to talk about some serious news stories, and we're going to dive into things that people are afraid to touch.
Politics or something?
Not necessarily. It's just whatever we attack and dissect stories nobody else talks about. Check it out.
All right, well, give me a topic that y'all going to dissect.
Well, last week we talked about an attacking squirrel.
Oh, okay. No, I'm good. I'm good.
That and how the cops couldn't write a Waymo.
I'm definitely good. I'm not talking about no cops on nobody's show.
No, it wasn't bad. It's just the cops stopped a Waymo car.
I'm going to talk about some cops.
I didn't get Blindside.
They went up to the car.
Stuff. Nope, good.
They went up to the car, and they're like, "Well, we can't write a ticket because there's nothing on the ticket that says robot."
Wait. What do you mean you were blindsided? What are you talking about, Danny? Ain't no one blindsided you.
Yes, he is. I'll send you 223 clips of things cops do good. I might have seen 2.
I mean,
yeah, okay. Let that marinate.
But that, and then the 3 of us right here, Anzo, Danny, and myself on Monday night. I believe it's Danny's turn to do his show on Chaos Central. So check that out too.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a holiday for me too.
It is.
Thanks. Oh,
yeah, Columbus Day.
Oh, yeah. That's it, isn't it?
And they give us anything now, boy. Yeah, Thanksgiving in October.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Okay.
Yeah, for them.
That's interesting.
So you cooking turkey?
Nah.
He's gonna eat.
I don't like turkey. I'm not a big turkey fan.
One time I like turkey is Thanksgiving. That's one time I want it.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it's like a once a year thing. Like after that, no.
And then I want it fried.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just have more bad experiences with turkey, to be honest. Like it's always dry.
But turkey barbecue. I only want barbecue during Christmas, and I only want turkey during Thanksgiving.
Wait, what?
Barbecue?
Barbecue during Christmas? What the fuck?
What are you talking about? That's the time you cook it. Barbecue hog is the best time to have it during Christmas.
Nah, bro. We have snow up here. We ain't barbecuing during Christmas, bro.
Well, y'all, I forgot y'all live in Antarctica. The rest of the civilized world don't live in Antarctica. We live in a more warmer climate.
Yeah, that don't get no snow. I don't know how you cannot have snow on Christmas.
Why are you trying to live like the abominable snowman is beyond me, but I'm good.
I don't understand how you cannot have snow in Christmas time. You see all the commercials, Pepsi commercials, or snow, the winter and everything, Santa. Like, that's Christmas. No hot weather, barbecue it.
Because a movie makes a lot of money, doesn't make it good. And just because it's snow doesn't make it Christmas or cold. So same rules apply. I done had plenty of Christmases when walking around in shorts. I'm good.
Yeah, I know you have, but I'm just saying that's not how Christmas is supposed to be. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. What?
You thinking about a barbecue on the grill? I'm talking about a barbecue like on a pit. That's done in the cold.
Like I thought you were talking about grill barbecue.
No. I'm talking about like
I got you.
You kill the hog, you gotta gut the hog, kill it, everything, put it on the pit, send out there where it's cold with the that's what I'm talking about.
Wait, you killing the hog?
Yeah, I've had.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and my younger man, that's what you have to do. Shoot the hog in the head, bang, jab it in the throat. Let the blood come out, put it in boiling hot water, pick all the hair off, they gut it. Once you gut it, put it in the freezer for a couple hours, and then you put it that night, you throw it on the grill, cook it for about 12, 14 hours, and you have barbecue.
Good.
I'm good too. Do I look like I missed any meals? Do I look like a healthy, strong American? Yes.
Yeah, you good. You good, brother. You good.
I eat plenty of barbecue. It's delicious.
You good.
I wish I had something now. Wish I had a bacon sandwich with ham on top.
Bacon is good. I don't know about the ham part. Bacon's good.
Ham's delicious. Oh, sorry, Austin, we took over. Go ahead and close this out.
No, you're good. Do any of you guys have anything you guys want to plug or?
No, we got Stone Slide tomorrow at 8 p.m. Not doing anything. I think that's who's playing tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
No.
The Chiefs and somebody.
Detroit Lions and Chiefs.
Oh, cares?
Yeah, nobody care about stinking Chiefs.
Well, I pick them to win, so I hope they win tomorrow. That's one reason. All right. All right, Jim, I got to go. It's like Austin said, it's almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah, man.
we're gonna wrap it up here. Anzo, did you want to plug anything or?
Nah, I'm good.
All
It's
right.
just fun.
Well, I would like to thank everybody for coming on the panel. I thought it was a great conversation. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up for tonight. So I want to thank everybody for watching. This is the Offstater signing out.
Peace.
Peace.